Sorry about that. Apparently, what happened, in case you're wondering, is I was starting the actual stream, and then it told me I had no memory to save the stream. So I was like, "Oh crap, that's not good." So I had to cancel the stream, go back to my old ones, delete an older stream, and then I could do this one because I like to do highlight clips. And so if I can't do that, then it kind of upsets me. So I wanted to delete the data. That's what happened there, in case you're wondering. Okay, so this is going to be a very interesting stream because I'm going to do like I usually do an anime review, but I'm going to do something a little different this time. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, I could just discuss the Geass. I could just discuss, let's say, the Evangelion rebuild films by themselves, which definitely could be done. But let's make it more interesting, which is instead I'm going to do three things. I'm going to first discuss the Evangelion rebuild films, non-spoiler, just general thoughts about each one. Then I'm going to discuss spoilers for each one. And then I'm going to compare it to the Geass films. That's kind of the plan for what I'm planning to do here today. If that makes any sense. So we're going to go through each one of those parts. Now, I just think it'd be interesting just to do it because, again, the films themselves are interesting, but I found it more interesting, the fact that the Geass recap films, I think, were inspired by what Evangelion did. Not the only one, by the way. The Full Metal Panic films, the Eureka 7 films, they all seem to follow the same pattern of like 3 films to reboot your franchise, 4th film, add sequel. So it's interesting how Geass, I think, did it better, but we'll get into that in quite a bit. So the other thing I should mention too is that I'm going to make an assumption that if you have seen the original anime, then you're watching this. Basically, you have watched the original anime, and therefore, if I talk about the films in that respect, it won't bother you too much. Or if you haven't seen Neon Genesis Evangelion, you don't really care either way. But I'm assuming you've seen the original anime. I think most people who went to go watch these films did. Ironically enough, with that being said, the point of the films was to make it more accessible to the fans who had watched the original. But I get the impression only people who watched the original watched these films, or at least understood them, which I think defeats the purpose. But we'll get into that as I go through this. Okay, so general thoughts about the film is the following. Spoiler alert, didn't like them. I thought there was too much fan service, too much CGI, too confusing, which is surprising because, again, this is supposed to be how do I put this? Accessible film, again, to all fans, yet I watched it more confused I went in more confused than I was going out. So that's never a good sign. Other things, not so much like critiques about the films itself, but I noticed in this one they had more Christian symbolism. I know Evangelion as a whole has always had lots of Christian symbolism. Heck, the names like Adam, Lilith, the Third Impact, all kinds of angels, right? All that is very Christian, Nebuchadnezzar, all these terms they throw out there. Even golf and a lot of Judaica and Christian ideas. But for some reason in these films, it just was more hand-fisted. Whereas the original anime, I didn't think it was as much in your face. But maybe that's just because, again, these were films, they had to condense stuff, so you didn't have time to breathe as you would in the original anime. And another thing, too, the original anime had a lot of fun slice-of-life moments with the characters. Not so much like them hanging out and doing stuff, just it felt more fun. When I was watching these films, it was at many points joyless. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but the films were not as fun as the anime. There are so many funny moments with Shinji and Asuka going back and forth. There are moments where Misato has moments with Shinji, or even with Kaji. It just, if the series felt like it was more fun and enjoyable. And I'm watching this and I'm just depressed and angry. I don't know if that was the intention or not, but it was something I noticed when I was going through these films. Could have been way better. The other thing, too, that I find kind of interesting, this is more like not so much my thought about the film, but just something you should know. There's apparently 2 dubs of this film. Yeah, I didn't know that. So I watched it first on Amazon Prime, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. They had the subtitles. I was mapping what they were saying versus subtitles, and it was pretty accurate. And then I got the films. I showed them like an earlier stream, and I watched the films, and the sound was different. Plus, I recognized certain voice actors that Funimation tends to use. For example, Colleen, who played Riza, Hawkeye, and among other characters. And I was thinking, wait, the voices are different, what they're saying is different. So apparently there's a Funimation dub, which came out first. And there's a Prime dub that came out this year with the release of the latest film, 3.0, 1.0, Thrice Upon Time. When I went online and read to suggest or to look up what did people think compared to the two, apparently most people liked the Funimation dub better, and I'm going to probably be the outlier here. I thought the Prime was much better. There are so many parts, which I'll get into later in the spoiler section of this review, but there are parts where it was more direct in what the characters were saying. It was easier to understand. The Funimation one was more vague about stuff. Maybe that was closer to the translation, but this is Evangelion, and because you don't know so much to begin with, it's always good to have more information thrown at you, even if it's messing a little bit with the translation. I like the Prime one better. Maybe also because the voice actors just seemed to fill the role better. It was kind of weird seeing Akai played by Colleen. I don't know. I guess it fit her, but it didn't. But then having like Greg Aries play that guy who hangs out with Shinji, one of the kids. I forgot, the guy with the glasses, the otaku weeb. I was like, okay, that kind of works. But there are Funimation voices, like they had Armstrong, Alex. He was playing one of these sailing members, and it just didn't fit. I couldn't take it seriously because it's Armstrong. The guy's a goofball. I know it's a voice actor, but he always plays these really bombastic characters like alt-right. No, alt-might, not alt-right. That's something else. I'm not going there, guys. Alt-might or Armstrong. Characters like that were just it's crazy bombastic. Now he's playing some kind of like ruler of a Illuminati-like organization. It just didn't really fit. So I preferred the Prime. The other thing, too, which is also odd about these films, because there's so much oddities, there's a 1.0 version of the first film and a 1.11 version. The 1.11 version apparently has extra stuff. It also has they line up some of the darkened scenes. I mean, it's just stuff like that with these films. I think it's apropos that Evangelion would have films that have multiple translations, multiple versions, because Evangelion is such a convoluted, contrived series that why not just bloat it more with more stuff? I mean, even beyond the films and the anime, there are so much video games and books you have to consume to fully get to grasp and learn the entire universe. So it just makes sense. Of course, the films would be contrived and weird like that. So that's another thing I noticed. I thought you guys might find interesting in general. And this is like if you were to ask me, okay, how would I have fixed Evangelion? Because the problem, why they made these films to begin with, at least the way I understood it, was the ending wasn't satisfying, it was confusing, and they wanted to bring it back to answer that question of what actually happened. And Anno finally got the chance to get his own studio, and he got a bigger budget, and he could do whatever he wanted. So what could have been, essentially? That's why I thought these films were for. And I guess also accessibility, right? So fans could get in there and watch the story who hadn't watched it previously. Which again is weird because most people who I've talked to about these films say if you watch the original, you'll appreciate it more. If you haven't, you won't, which is, I guess, a failure of the films in and of itself. But the point is, if I was going to do this myself, I would simply remake the series. I would remake it where you basically follow the original story, maybe make some changes here and there, redo 25, 26, and End of Evangelion, and just remake it, remaster it, explain things. Heck, if you wanted to make Evangelion, this is a crazy idea, 50 episodes, and you flesh out things more, you explain your lore better, you develop the characters more, that would have been kind of cool, a 50-episode Evangelion series, instead of 3 bloated films, which if you put them into episodes, would be like 12 total. So that might have been a little better approach to take, because the problem with these films is they try to throw too much at you at one time, and it's way too confusing. At least with the original anime, they slowly introduced concepts, but even then, they kind of dumped you at the end with stuff. So I don't know why they couldn't just focus on the problem with Evangelion, which was the last 2 episodes and the film, and just make that clearer, rather than just say, let's just redo everything, which was unnecessary. And that's another way to describe these films, unnecessary. I wish they just rebooted the whole series. That would have been much better, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so that's the first part, my general thoughts on the films. Let's move on now to each film in particular. The first film is called 1.0, You Are Not Alone. The not, I believe, is in parentheses. I'm not sure why they did that. I'm sure there's some symbolism, because Evangelion is full of symbolism. And so the film basically follows everything from the original anime up to episode 8. It ends with a battle against Ramael, but I don't think they actually use those names in these films. They just called them different angel numbers, like Angel 4, Angel 5, whatever. So overall, it followed the exact film. There's a couple these series rather. There's changes in the animation. There's obviously differences because of, well, I'll explain the spoiler part, but there's differences because of what it is. But for the most part, if you just watch this film and you watched Evangelion, Neon Just Evangelion maybe a year ago or even 5 years ago, in my case, you probably won't notice any differences. But if you go right from the series to this film, you'll notice slight tweaks. I would say 90% of this film follows the show perfectly. It doesn't stray too much. It was an enjoyable experience. I definitely liked the film. Would recommend it, even though you probably can't watch it by itself. But as an individual film, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. Very good film. Excuse me. Okay, next film is called 2.0, You Cannot Advance. This film it follows all the events from Asuka all the way to episode 19 when they fight the angel Zuriel. Again, they don't use the angel names in the films. They call it, I think it's the 10th angel. I could be wrong on that one. The angel names are so confusing. But anyway, so they go on from like Asuka's journey to join the team, and they fight off that angel at the end. The only difference is, well, how they conclude that. They also introduce a new character named Mari, who I'll get into later, who's the fourth pilot that joins the team. Originally it was just three, right? Asuka, Shinji, and Rei. And then Toji was a failed person who almost became one of the children. We get a new child named Mari, and well, fun stuff with that one. Basically, it condensed the original, those episodes between 9 and 19. So they skip a lot of parts. They tried to show like certain character development within an extended scene instead of having the whole drawn out part. Basically, if there was character development that took place, let's say over 5 episodes, they'll show it to you in like one scene. Geass recap films the exact same thing, so that was fine on my part. They changed certain plot elements to, again, do some condensing. Other than that, it basically follows the same story, again, except for Mari and the ending, which was, it was good stuff. Overall, though, I didn't hate the film. I thought, they did some differences. It's okay. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 when I watched it. Nothing too crazy about it. 7 out of 10 because there are a lot of things about the film I absolutely hated. But from differentiating from the original series, it was fine. And as a film itself, not too many issues. But then we get to film 3. Film 3... Wait, what? You're seeing the loading? Huh? You said my stream's not loading, huh? Hold on. Are you guys not seeing my stream? I'm confused. Hold on, I gotta stop. Are you guys not seeing something? Is there like an issue? Okay, cool. I was like, wait, shit. I normally don't read my comments when I'm like going off because I don't want to like lose momentum. It's kind of like when a pitcher's throwing out, you don't want to freeze the pitcher. I only see you. Yeah, you should only see me. As long as I'm talking, I'm in sync with my voice, then like... Okay. Alright. You guys scared me there. Don't do that. Where was I? Okay. So, movie 3 is called You Cannot Redo 3.0, and this is probably the worst of the 3 films. This one, they take the story to a completely different direction. There's a big time skip. They introduce a bunch of concepts. The whole thing is confusing, bloated. There's a Wikipedia page which I went on, which explained, like, answering all the common questions, and most of them were speculation, which already tells you how bad the film was. The animation is over the place. The fan service is rampant, like in the rest of these films. And overall, I left the film thinking, like, I don't even want to watch the 4th one. And that kind of reminds me of the Star Wars films, too, not to bring those into this discussion. But after I watched The Last Jedi, I was thinking, I don't even care what happens. I just don't care. The same was with this film, too. I was thinking, I just don't care what happens. They all could die tomorrow, and I'd be fine with it. I just don't care. And that's frustrating, obviously, because the films wanted to build up to the conclusion, and I felt very disfranchised and jaded from watching that film. It just... I don't know what they were thinking. I know that Anno had like a big change of heart after the earthquake on March 11, I believe. So a tsunami earthquake. So I understand why the film changed. That still doesn't qualify it. That still doesn't justify it being what it was. Oh my god. I tried so hard. I watched it once. I was like, okay, you know what? It wasn't the greatest, but there were some cool action sequences, and they were trying to build to something. So I said, okay, 6 out of 10. I watched it again. I took notes. I really thought about it. It was an awful film. 5 out of 10. And what's frustrating, too, is that the next film builds on this one. I've already seen, by the way, the sequel. That's going to be another stream to itself when I go over it. But they built on this film for that one. And that was a mistake, because the foundation set by 3.0 was pure trash. I'm not going to mince words. It was god-awful. So that's what our thoughts about the films. The first film, I give it a 9 out of 10. Second film, 7 out of 10. Third film, 5 out of 10. And don't recommend watching any of them, ironically enough, because I think the original anime is just infinitely better. I think if you watch the anime Death and Rebirth and End of Evangelion, you got a complete experience. You win. It's like Code Geass. What's the watch over for Code Geass? R1, R2, and then you're done. Everything else is supplementary. With Evangelion, the same thing. These films were unnecessary. There were better solutions for it. That's the non-spoiler review. Now I'm going to go through all the films and discuss specific things that I liked and didn't like about them. And this is going to be a spoiler thing. But before I do that, though, I want to mention two things. I have like a list of notes, by the way, in case you're wondering, because I actually wanted to make sure I don't miss anything. Usually when I discuss my thoughts about different anime, I like to do it kind of as note-free as possible, but I really didn't want to miss anything for this one, hence why I'm always looking to the left and always making sure I'm on point. Okay, before I get into each of the films in the spoiler section, I want to mention there's two things I've noticed that people say who defend these films. And there's nothing wrong with these arguments, but they don't work for me, and I absolutely can't stand them. Here's the first one. So this is a big spoiler. Warning here, I guess. The rebuild films are part of the same timeline as the original anime, meaning that ended at the end of Evangelion. Shinji, I guess, decides he doesn't want people to be part of the big LCL anymore, and so eventually everyone kind of materializes back to people. The collective consciousness is basically destroyed, and everything is reborn into a new, hence a new cycle. So these rebuild films are a new cycle within the same timeline. So it follows the events of the original, but there are differentiating points, plot points. I guess you could say forks in the road. So what people will say is, well, because it differentiates from the original, and it also is its own cycle, it's okay if some things don't add up or things make sense because it's a different cycle. There should be differences. And the reason why I think that's garbage is because, okay, yes, you can argue if it's a different cycle, fine, there'll be some changes here and there. But you can't destroy your own lore in the process. If things like contradict your previous lore, that's still a problem because you're still showing scenes from the original anime and saying, see, it's kind of like the anime, but we changed some stuff. Well, if you change stuff, you still got to keep it consistent within that lore of that universe. If you made a completely different cycle or a completely different universe, that would be fine. But you are saying that it's the same thing but minor tweaks. But because those tweaks could be possibly damaging to the overall lore of the series, therefore it's totally fine because, again, it's a different cycle. It's okay if things don't make sense. That was the point of the film. That sounds... I mean, just me saying it out loud and thinking about it, it's just terrible. The other thing, too, I don't like is that people have told me, well, it's not about the Evangelions. It's actually about metaphors and symbolism and how Anno was depressed and how he's not depressed and how this whole Buddhism ideal of life and how he got through certain things and how he changed. The film's like his whole like journey in life. So it's not about the robots or the lore or any of that stuff. It's just about the symbolism and the metaphors. Okay, if you're focused on the lore and what's happening on screen, you're missing the point. And I gotta say, that is such nonsense, okay? I understand, I think it's beautiful, some of the symbolism in these films. I'm not being facetious there. But symbolism metaphors are enhancement to a story. They are not the story, okay? It's like CGI. You enhance the story. If your entire story is symbols and metaphors with no actual substance, is a terrible film or TV show or really whatever, okay? I want a pretty consistent story and plot that makes sense. And then when it's finished, then we can go back and look at the lore, the metaphors and the symbolisms. But if your story itself makes no sense and we have to look at symbolism metaphors to justify it being good, that's very problematic. And that's frustrating that a lot of people who justify these films say, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter. A lot. And the fact that people say that, it irritates me. It's a agree to disagree discussion, but if you take that argument to other stuff, you can justify anything being good. And I think there are things that are objectively bad. Or I would say not necessarily objectively, but most people find to be bad for a specific reason. If you start saying, well, if you look at it from this point of view, it could be good, then you're getting to weird territory. And as much as the films could have been good or bad. That doesn't really change anything to me. I don't care what Anno was going through or not going through. Apparently, he wanted to see more naked 14-year-olds because the film has way more of that. So if he was depressed, not depressed, you got to see more of Asuka naked, which is, thanks a lot, guys. I'm glad your depression led you to more nonsense. Okay. Now that I've gone through all of the critiques, the main defenses, rather, of the films, let's now go through each one. All right, so film 1, You Are Not Alone. All right, a couple things off the bat that I liked. First of all, I liked that part where they showed extended footage of when they got the power to take out Ramiel, which is, again, it was a diamond, not a diamond. Yeah, it was a diamond angel. So that was kind of cool. They made that scene more epic when Shinji took it out. That was a really epic scene. The animation there was absolutely flawless. And I felt, in general, the animation in these films were really good. Except when they went CGI route, which I'll get to later. And again, the film, because it followed the original anime, which for the most part was well written, up until the last 2 episodes, it was easy to follow and very enjoyable. Despite the fact they took out a lot of the fun scenes, it was still an enjoyable film. Again, as I said in the non-spoiler review, I don't have too many complaints or even things to point out because it was basically the first 8 episodes with certain parts removed, better animation, and they kept things pretty consistent, so I give them credit for that. And they removed all the school drama, which is fantastic because it's much like Evangelion. The school stuff was just awful, distracting. You could have done so much more with it. There were some parts where they did it for character development, but overall, I could care less about it. So they removed that, at least from the films. There are some aspects to it, like certain scenes, but overall, it's gone. Okay, now, what about the dislikes? Now, here's this part. It's going to vary from person to person. But number one, and I don't know why they did this. So there's a scene in the show where Shinji goes to Rei to deliver the new key card so she can get into Nerve. When he does this, he goes into her apartment, like in the anime. She finds him after taking a shower. He puts on Gendo's glasses. She grabs him. He grabs her. And then the panties fall on him. And then he falls on her and she's naked, basically. In the original anime, they don't draw the nipples. In the film, they did. I don't know why they included that in the scene. I don't know why they included the scene in the first place. They could have easily rewrote it where he just comes in there, drops the card, and leaves. There was absolutely no purpose behind the scene in the anime or in this film, but they decided to not only include it, but also emphasize it. Another part to the Rei nudity, again, because no one asked for this, when they are changing before the last mission to fight against Ramiel, you see Rei putting on her outfit. But in the original anime, she was covered up by something, so you just see like a shadow. In this, they show you her whole body because, again, seeing naked 14-year-olds is always a good time. And they, for some reason, gave us these 2 extra scenes. Now, there are other changes with the films, too, but these 2 stood out in particular because they were just... They stood out in particular because these scenes... Because they're rebuilding the series, and it's just super distracting when you're hoping for more explanations on stuff, instead you get this instead. So that was kind of frustrating to me. And this is more of a nitpick on my part, but in the very beginning of the show, when the rubble's falling on Shinji and Rei, he's able to get the Unit 1 to block the rubble with his hand. And I thought that was really cool because it showed he had a connection to the Eva without even getting inside of it. But unfortunately, in these films, they removed that part, and he just gets inside Eva to battle against the 4th angel. Which, it doesn't ruin the film, but I really like that extra part they had in the show. I don't know why they could have included it. They could have gotten rid of the whole extra Rei nude scenes, but hey, whatever. I'm just one guy's opinion. Overall, I don't have too many notes on the film. I thought it was a pretty good time. So that's my thoughts on 1.0, You're Not Alone. Okay, now we're getting to You Cannot Advance 2.0, or 2.22 if you watch that version. Yes, that's actually a thing. First thing I think they did a pretty good job on is that when Asuka decides to... When they introduce Asuka into the story, I thought it was pretty cool. She jumps out of the... I guess it was they were transporting her. She jumps out of it to kill the angel. I think her movements to kill were a little crazy and not really Eva-like, but... whatever, that's fine. She destroys the angel, which was very strange looking, but they get her into the story. They don't have the boats part in the original anime, which I think was much better, but they still, I think, did a good job getting her into the story. There's good scenes, banter between her and Misato. I like when she says it's been a while, and I really enjoy that because it really has been, if you consider the fact that this is the dub team, and they haven't dubbed it probably since the original anime, and that was in the 90s, so it actually has been a while. So that line means a lot more to me than maybe other people, or definitely, of course, to the voice actors. But Asuka's involvement in the story, they had to like condense parts, which is a bit of a critique. But I do like the way they introduced her to the story. They immediately established she has a problem with Rei and Shinji, so I thought that was fine. She's pretty cool when she is fighting, which I thought was great. One of the best parts of the films when they get to go to that facility to help out with the sea life. Kaji tells them where to go. It's like a nice little trip there. I love the part where they go in there and they have the detox and the whole contamination thing. That was really funny because everyone else was freaking out because of the different temperatures of the water, and Ray's just kind of calm the whole time. It was a very funny scene. That whole part was great because, as I mentioned in the prelude to this, and also in the first film as well, a lot of the fun moments in these movies are not there. So it was nice to actually have parts where the kids are just being kids. Because for some reason, these films, they want to forget that they're kids or not showing them having fun. And it was good we had at least that scene. It wasn't the best scene ever, but I have to, what's it called? I got to latch on to what is given. So I thought it was pretty cool. They explained the second impact, which was a little different from how they did in the original anime. Again, different cycle. I guess that's what we're supposed to get. Another thing that was good about these films, especially this one, is that Rei actually develops as a character. Now, the original, she was kind of doing certain things, like understanding emotions and things like that. But in this film, she started acting more like a person. She was more interested in certain things, discovery. She wanted to learn how to cook because Shinji gave her food. I like that whole part where he goes up to her and her hands are cut up with, and she has like bandages. And he says says what happened, and she says, I'll tell you when I'm good at it. Which, by the way, that was the Prime dub. In the Funimation dub, she says, it's a secret. I'm thinking, well, that was terrible. But in the Prime dub, she says, I'll tell you when I get good at it. And I was thinking, that's way better than the Funimation dub because it's less vague. And Shinji's smiling because he realized that she's trying to learn how to cook. And I like the whole subplot, how she was trying to reunite Shinji with his father at like an event. They were going to have a little dinner together. It was a nice little subplot to the story. I even like how they ruined it. I thought that made sense too. It was good. Giving Rei things to do in this film was a good thing. The original anime, I felt like she didn't have much to do. Again, given the fact that she's just a clone of Yui and she's just canon father, I still liked how they tried to give her some personality in this film. That's one of the biggest positives about it too. The part where Asuka takes over for Unit 6 over Choji, I didn't mind it. The fighting was still brutal, and the whole part where they use a dummy plug to take over Shinji's Ava, that was absolutely messy and just horrifying. Especially when you see Maya like freaking out when the Ava rips off the head and starts chewing on it. I mean, that was gory stuff, and it looked good in better animation. That's one of the better parts of the film. And speaking of the animation, there's a really random scene, but I don't know why it always stood out to me, where you see everyone kind of going to work with average CGI, and you see just Maya like getting ready to go to Nerve. I think it was Maya. I don't know. I really like that scene. It doesn't mean anything to the plot. Doesn't change anything. It was a nice little addition, considering most of the stuff I didn't really like too much. The 10th Angel was like redesigned. It was really cool. It had like these things dancing back and forth and holding hands. I don't know. It was really out there, which I think adds a lot to the story. The elevator scene was still there, which is good. I think it's an iconic moment. A lot of people don't like it, and they say it took too long because they're sitting there forever. But I personally had no issues with it. I thought the elevator scene was solid in the original series. To me, Asuka's just blinking, and it's going down very slowly. It was building tension. The whole part on the train station, no, that was bad. The elevator, I had no problem with it. I guess when I first watched, I was thinking, hey, did they run out of budget, or maybe the thing is broken? But given the tension in that scene, which you can cut with a knife, I thought it was perfect. In this film, it was perfect because you see Asuka and Rei both had feelings for Shinji, and that's when things came out about it. So that was well done. The whole battle against, I forgot the angel's name, I think it was the 10th angel. Well, I don't care, whichever one it was. I'm not sure why I don't have it listed here. But there was, it's the 8th angel, right. So the battle against the 8th angel was really cool. Even though I think the plan behind it was absolutely ridiculous, but the whole idea like it was going to crash on Earth, and they all three had to work together to take it out, I thought that was a great scene too. Especially how there was a whole like plot how they had to work together, and Asuka was going through this situation where she wanted it herself, and they're like, you can't do it yourself, because you physically can't, and she still got upset about it, which I don't know, that didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. The fighting was still really cool. The whole part when the last angel appears, I believe it was it a 10th angel? Yeah, the 10th angel. So when the 10th angel appears, Shinji already ran away at this point, so he doesn't want to pilot ever again because of what happened with Asuka. So you just have basically, no one dealing with it for the most part. And then eventually Rei decides to take a bomb and try to take it out herself. And it was such a really sad scene and sweet too, because she wanted to make sure Shinji would never have to pilot again because she really loved him. I think she was programmed to do that, but who cares? It was still a beautiful scene. She's trying to go through the AT field. And then Mari, who I can't stand her character, but I will give her props. She comes in there in beast mode, which is, I don't even know, and rips over the AT field, and it still fails. And then because it absorbs Rei, the 10th angel, Shinji gets upset, and he comes in there and gets into his own unit, just like the original anime, and fights it off. But unlike the original anime, he doesn't consume it. He instead merges with Rei, takes her soul out of that unit, the 10th angel, and they combine, and it starts the third impact. And that's when the film basically ends. And there's a part where you see Nagisa in unit, I don't know, which one was it, 4? I don't know, maybe it was 6. And it wasn't 6. These units all confuse the hell out of me. I'll look it up later. But you saw him coming down in his to stop the whole impact. And that's when the film ends. So I thought those were really good parts in it. There are some things I didn't like. The first thing I'd mention is Mari's character. I couldn't stand this character. Everything about her. The fan service, her attitude, design, the fact that she takes away from other characters. I mean, this is already a clustered film. You already have a time limit. You have to develop all your characters. So you bring in a new person in there, and it already bloats the story. It already makes things more complicated. And with Mari, it was just every scene with this girl was fan service. Either the angles, the dialogue she says, everything about it just really pissed me off because it was bad enough that you had to do Asuka and Rei dirty in these films with certain angles and suggestive shots. But then you have Mari, who's just like, yeah, I'm 15, well, physically 15, and I'm just gonna put my body everywhere and just throw myself in your face. I just no. God, she was so insufferable. She tried to sometimes she was I guess a good person, but overall, oh my God, no. Hated that character. I was trying to like her, but ultimately no. Excuse me. Some people say she was a self-insert character. I have no idea if that's the case, but whatever it was, man, I could not stand Mari. Everything about her, they didn't have to go that route with the character, and it just, on some level, it kind of reminds me of Genocide Code, a strange comparison, but when you're making these films, you're trying to appeal to a wider audience, are you suggesting that people want to see 14-year-olds in lewd situations? And if that's the case, then I have to question the clientele who watches these films. I'm not saying everyone who watches Evangelion are perverts. I'm not even remotely suggesting that. I'm just saying that designers think they are because they had to make a character like this. I don't know. It's really bizarre stuff. Really bizarre stuff. The Beast mode, while I think it was cool, it made no sense, and it opens up not even a door or a box. It opens up a whole wormhole of issues with the story about why they didn't use it before, how does it even work, what's I don't know. It was one of those things where it's oh, they can just do Beast mode now. Of course they can. Does it make sense? No. So go with it. Just go with it, man. I wrote many notes when I was watching these films, and one thing I said was, just turn your brain off. Just turn your brain off and watch the film. Just turn it off. Don't even think about it. Don't think about it. Are you thinking? That's bad. Don't think. Just watch, okay? It's not about the mech stuff. About the symbolism, man. I'm sounding like a lunatic right now, but that's how I felt watching these movies. Okay, another thing I couldn't stand. Asuka's development in these films is garbage. She has such a powerful arc in the original anime, going from the best pilot to the worst. So much so that her synchronous rate was 0, and she contemplated killing herself, or I think she was committing suicide, but they saved her in that bathtub. She had a very strong arc in the original anime. In this film, it's thrown away into certain conversations I'm the only one who can depend on myself. What? I couldn't defeat a angel by myself, even though it required 3 people? Fine, whatever, I just can't do anything on my own. Or a random conversation with Misato where she says I'm fine growing as a person, I'm going to do stuff and improve. I'm this is such crap, because in the show, they progressively showed Asuka's development from her rise and her fall. And so when it happens, it's very believable, it's very traumatic, It's awful. And this film, it's just so rushed. And they ruined it. They absolutely ruined her character. I'm not even a big Asuka fan, but wow, like she had a whole arc in the story, and then I won't spoil the fourth film entirely, but there's a part where they tried to thrust everything about her into that movie, and I'm like, you guys suck. You took one of maybe your best characters in the story, and you did her dirty, both literally and also with the story, with her backstory and character. And speaking of like things that make no sense about Asuka, why was she living with Shinji? I know in the original anime they did it because they had to fight against Israfel, and Israfel could split himself. I think it's a him or her. Who the hell cares at this point? Could split himself into two different angels. So they had to learn to be in sync to take it out. But in the films, they just proactively had them living together. And it made no sense because Misato's like, oh, you should live together because if you live together, then you'll be better acquainted, you'll do better against the angels. But I'm thinking, okay, if that's your argument, why not have Rei live with them too? Because after all, Asuka doesn't get along with Rei either, so it wasn't really about that. Maybe they did it because the original anime had something like that. Well, it did. But in the original anime, it was different because they fought against Israfel first. And they weren't even living together. They threw them both out there between Shinji and Asuka, and they failed horribly. They figured out the only way they could beat Israfel was to have them work together and get their synchronous on point. So they could work together in unison. That's why they were living together the whole time. It was nothing to do with them being more acquainted. I mean, maybe that would have helped. But the film has to put that in there because they want those scenes of Asuka and Shinji together. You know which one I'm talking about. So they had to find a way to say, oh, just work together. I'm like, no, there was reason and purpose. You guys just crapped all over it. And then speaking of crapping over stuff, as I just alluded to earlier, they had more scenes of Asuka and Shinji together. And there was one scene particularly that really pissed me off. They did a Code Geass, guys. Okay, they did a Code Geass where you see Asuka coming out of the shower like Colin did, only Colin at least made more sense. She freaks out because of the penguin like Shinji did early on in the first film. And then you basically see her nude. Except for the nipples. And obviously the lower area. That's it. And I'm thinking, great. Does this add anything to the story? No. Why was it there? I have no idea. I guess that people want to see Asuka naked. Which, again, it just... I have to say this again. Do people really want to see 14-year-olds nude? It's just... I don't get it. It's just so strange. You don't have to include us in there. You are in charge of this film. You can do whatever you want. You can include scenes, remove scenes. I don't care. Was this absolutely necessary in the story? The answer is no, and I'm continuing to be disgusted as I watch these films, or when I was watching these films, and why they keep inserting this crap in there. Adds nothing to the story, and insults the characters further. Which, if that was the purpose, then I'm an idiot, and I didn't get it. Which, most people say that, right? You didn't get Evangelion. You know what? If that's the case, great. I didn't want to get it. If there's some, bigger thing behind this, I don't want to get it. Now, I understand that the nudity with the 14-year-old is supposed to be symbolic, like in the dark scenes when Shinji's going through his mental struggles. I get that, okay? Excuse me. I get that part, right? But what does a fan service nude scene serve you in the story? That I don't get. Another thing that I liked about the anime that's not included in these films, especially this one, is that they don't talk about everyone's synchronous rate. You don't see Shinji or Asuka competing against who has the best synchronous rate, which is an important part of Asuka's character because she feels without the Eva pilot, or without the Eva itself, she has no meaning. They mention it in a throwaway conversation, but the whole competition thing with the synchronous rate was a big point in the original anime because as Shinji's went higher, Asuka's pride constantly got destroyed to the point where she no longer wanted to pilot, or she couldn't pilot anymore. And again, they crapped over that by not even discussing the whole synchronous rate. They had one scene where they tested themselves, and that was it. What a waste. What an honest waste. Misato and Kaji have a couple scenes. They don't do much with them. Of course not. They do nothing with Dr. Akagi and Gendo's relationship. They just ignore it altogether. If it was a thing or not a thing, we'll never know. The CGI in this film at some points was awful. There are certain parts where you see characters walking around. It just looks so fake. This is supposed to be a high-budget film. I've seen lower-budget films utilize CGI way better than this, okay? You can watch... I know this is not a great example because it was a high-budget film, but if you watch, what was it? Steam Boy? Better animation than this movie. And that came out, several years before. When Steam Boy came out? 2007, I think. It was a follow-up for Akira because the same guy who made it. And there's a bunch of films like that where the people who made it actually thought about it. The CGI in these films is absolutely disgusting. You can spot the fakeness from a mile away. I can't believe I'm watching the original series and it looked way better than these films. With a better budget, by the way, in these films, and also better animation. And they threw CGI for no reason whatsoever, besides, I think, to cut corners or to make it look nice, even though it doesn't look nice. It was one of the worst parts of these films. And then from more a personal matter, the color scheme of Unit 0 was orange throughout the film. It almost reminded of Lancelot in a sense. What happened to the blue design, guys? Why did we get rid of the blue? Why orange? Why did they get rid of the blue and they put orange? I have no idea. That's a very nitpicky thing. Doesn't ruin the film for anybody. Not myself. I'm just like, why did they do orange? Do the blue, guys. The blue was cool. It made sense. It fit Asuka's personality of depression and confusion and stuff. Orange doesn't make any sense. Doesn't fit her at all. Like the colors in anime, as you know, iconography are very important to the characters. So each color represents the character a little bit. That's why Asuka is red and why her mech is red or Ava is red. Right? It matters. So why they chose to use blue to me was really weird. I don't know. Overall, though, the film to me, it had a lot of good points. The new stuff they introduced for the most part was bad, and they crapped on a lot of characters. So that's my thoughts on 2.0. You cannot advance. And finally, film 3.0. You cannot redo. I have 3 things I liked in the movie. That's it. Just 3 things. Number 1, I liked the part of Nagisa and Shinji playing piano together. Any part where they were interacting, the film was really good. I don't know what it was. It was peaceful, relaxing. Shinji actually smiled for once, and they learned about the whole third impact. All that stuff was great. Good stuff around. The animation was beautiful. Some people thought the symbolism was pretentious when they see like horses while they're playing piano. I had no issue with that. I thought it was fine. Really good stuff. I like Nagisa's character in general. I thought going through the whole nerd base was kind of cool after the whole impact of the third impact. So that was pretty good. I'll give them credit. That was well animated. It doesn't make the film good, but I'll give them credit. That was a nice scene. I like the ending part where Shinji fights against Mari and Asuka while in Unit 13, trying to take out both the spears out of Lilith. I thought that was really cool. A well-choreographed fight. It was a lot of tension to it. It was good action. Not too heavy on CGI, although it definitely reared its ugly head. And I kind of mentioned this with the other one about the third impact, so I'll say something else positive about the film. I like how the fourth impact almost starts. I thought that was really cool. That whole part where Shinji screws up. And the whole part where Nagisa dies in front of him. Like, that was really traumatic and really well done. The rest of the film is a cluster fudge of stupid things and nonsense. Here's a list of stuff, right? The Wonder Lift makes no sense. So apparently it can fly using an AT field. How does that work? Do AT fields work that way, or they made it up for the story? It can also apparently guide a bunch of other ships as well. It's made out of Unit 1, so I'm thinking, okay, if Unit 1 is the one controlling it, can it reject them? Can it go berserk? Do you need a synchronous rig to pilot this thing? I mean, there's so many questions I have about how the heck this thing even works to begin with, and more importantly, is there any precedent in the original series, or even in the films, that justifies how this even makes any sense? It is a complete clusterfudge of stuff. The time skip is stupid. The fact that Shinji has no idea it had even happened in the first place. I mean, he sees Dr. Akagi, who has short hair and clearly is older, and is like, oh, she looks the same. She was 30 in the original. She was 30 before the time skip. She's 44 now. You can't tell the difference. I mean, unless Akagi's using some kind of advanced cream or something. How can you not tell she got older? Shinji's obliviousness is, oh my god, so stupid. It's not even, like, how does he not know that? The fact that the beginning of the film is such a I keep using the word cluster fudge, because that's what it was, okay? They wanted to get some Tesseract with the Unit 1 that he was inside of, because in hibernation, because of what happened in the other impact, and somehow everyone was waiting for him. Are you telling me everyone waited 14 years for Shinji to come back? And as far as like, hey, Shinji, you're here. You're going to pilot Unit 13 for me. And I'm thinking, was Gendo waiting 14 years for him to come back? As someone pointed out, I think it was brilliant. Everyone in this film acts exactly the same as they did before. So basically, the 14 years time skip only served one purpose, and that was to get Rei from a child to an adult, or to 14 years old. That's the only reason why they did it, because she died didn't die, but she was absorbed by Unit 1 at the end of, or which part of the angel? I don't even know. I'm so confused about that. But she was absorbed by one of those things. And so the new one had to be 14 years old. So they had to find a way to get her 14 years old. So they figure, okay, we'll just fast forward time. That's why I think this exists in the first place. And also, apparently, it took between the second and third impact was also 14 years. I guess they wanted to keep that 14-year theme going on in the movies, right? 14 years between each impact, 14 years old children. 14, 14, 14 must have been this guy's lucky number. I don't know, because it seems to be an ongoing theme in these movies. But in any event, the time skip only serves as a weird plot device. And of course, no one apparently aged between Mari and Shinji and Asuka, because there's something called the Evangelion, the Angel Curse. No, it's called the Eva Curse. Did they explain what that is? Of course not. Why would they? Just go with it. Just go. Turn your brain off and just go with it, okay? These kids, apparently, they don't age anymore. I'm thinking, well, that doesn't open any plot holes, right? I mean, did Gendo even care? What if the whole instrumentality project fails and it can't bring back Yui, and so the impact occurs and nothing happens afterwards? So is Shinji gonna live forever as 14 years old? Can the curse even be removed? And I know in the end of the latest film they kind of explained it, but still, it's like, don't just throw concepts out there just to do it. Don't just say words like, the Gulf and the central dogma, and then there's the terminal dogma, and then we're in the Geofront. They throw so much stuff at you. I know Geofront was in the other films, but they keep saying, like, we're in this and that and that. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Slow down and explain yourself. God, it's so frustrating. And then Mari, oh my God, Mari, like, she was just as bad in this film as the last one. Probably worse. More stupid scenes of her adding like a child, but like a perverted child. Again, more fan service, every angle with this girl. It's like she was made, I think, just to sexualize. I mean, you think Colin is bad, okay? You think Colin is bad. You haven't seen Mari yet. Mari outdoes Colin by a long shot, which is crazy because I think Colin, there were some scenes that were questionable, but in this case, it's like all the darn time. And if you're wondering, okay, well, how about this? Riddle me this, right? C2 is 16 years old, but you don't find it gross that they might have her in certain compromising positions, even though she's 16 years old. And these characters are 14, and they're immortal now because of the curse of the because of the curse of Evangelion, right? What's the difference? The difference is this, okay? No one treats C2 like a child in the story. C2, for the most part, is an adult in a 16-year-old body. She doesn't go to school, doesn't act like a child. Of course, she plays with plushies, but that doesn't mean anything. Adults it all the time. She, for the most part, is treated like an adult who happens to have a 16-year-old body. Asuka, Mari, and Rei are not treated like adults. They are treated like children. They're called child for crying out loud. First child, second child, right? You're not treated as children as adults. Where C2 is an adult the whole time. And the story doesn't treat her like that. That's the difference. The whole way it was written around C2 versus these characters was one is an adult in a 16-year-old body. These are kids in kids' bodies. I don't care if 14 years has passed. It's still weird to me. If you want to use that argument, I know some people are going to say, well, how come you can justify C2? Because it's a lot different. It's much different. There's nuance to this. But I guess if let's use the Evangelion logic, right? The symbolism, the metaphor. Yeah, exactly. You look past all that stuff, you might notice there's more going on here. So it's really irritating that they chose route for the characters. They don't explain any of it in general. The CGI, do I even discuss that? It's awful. There's another thing too. So I mentioned in the beginning that there are so many questions I have about these films, and if you go on Wikipedia and search it up, there's actually a good site. I'll give them credit. They went through every FAQs on the movie, and all the answers most of the answers are speculation, meaning that even the people who actually know this stuff, who spend their lives studying it, have no idea the answers to these films or these questions, which means that the people who wrote this story didn't care. Wow, I'm not even sure. I'm not sure how you even think about that. The Eva combat is also a joke at times. Like I said, it was cool when they were fighting Shinji at the end. However, there's a part where the fourth impact is occurring, and you see Asuka and Mari kind of crawl out of this ditch, and it's so stupid. I mean, you would not see that. This is supposed to be a serious story. As someone said, it's not the Marvel films. I want to take this story seriously. I don't want to just laugh all the time. I actually want to learn something, because Evangelion is supposed to be a series that challenges your mind and who you are and makes you rethink your life, and it's supposed to be an intellectual story, right? How is it intellectual to have Mari and Asuka peeking out like children in their Evas? Can Evas even do that? Do they articulate that way? It's things like this that take you out of the moment, right? You're supposed to take this seriously. Right? You're supposed to take this seriously. The world's coming to an end or something. But what do you see instead? Just like people clowning around. It's just so stupid. And more angles of Asuka and Mari. Just more weird angles. And here's the general thought, okay? I want everyone in the Villa, which is the group fighting against Nerve, to die. I just want them to die. When they were fighting against Shinji, when he was trying to pull out the spear, I'm like, guys, don't stop him. Let him bring the end of the world. Let's end this darn thing already. Just kill everybody. Kill everyone, for crying out loud. I don't even care anymore. That's how I was saying during this film. I was like, can everyone just die already? Misato, I don't care. You suck, okay? All of you suck. And that's how I felt. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't even want to watch the fourth film. I was so angry with this movie. So now that I've gone over my thoughts on the films, and because you can tell, didn't like them. I can say that again, right, a million times. But I didn't like them. In fact, this is more of a rant than even like just analysis. Just me releasing my rage in a form of therapeutic fashion. So I appreciate you guys and we're indulging me there for a couple minutes. Or how long has it been? 51 minutes? Oh, God. Okay. Anyways, now let's get to how Code Geass did it better, which is the most interesting part, okay? So what Code Geass did in their recap films, they took the original plot and they condensed it into 3 films that cut out all the fat, introduced new scenes that tried to explain 3 or 4 episodes at a time so you could go through the whole thing and still get a complete picture of what happened, making the films accessible and successfully setting up for the 4th film. That's what made the Code Geass films excellent in that regard, because they cut out parts that I don't think matter. They didn't add fan service scenes, they removed the fan service scenes. The only example I can think of where they added a fan service scene is when you see Shirley talking to C2 in the 3rd film and her butt's like in the camera. That's the only I can think of where they added a fan service scene to the story. But even then, it actually was important, because when Shirley talks to C2, that starts the whole plan to retrieve her body. I've already discussed it numerous times in videos and whatever, so you already know how I feel about that. But beyond that, all the stuff that was added was just to essentially connect the dots between certain events. That was the whole purpose behind all the new scenes in the story. You can watch the 3 films having not watched the original Code Geass story, and you can probably get a good picture of what happened. And it did a good job setting up the 4th film. You actually were legitimately excited for it. The Evangelion films don't do that. Instead, they decide to tell an accessible story with the most complicated way possible, introducing too many new elements and branching the story off in a direction it didn't need to go into, ultimately making you either really excited or really angry, not explaining anything along the way. In fact, I wish they had instead made the Evangelion recap films, like how they did that. They should have done for Code Geass, because how cool would it have been if they took the Code Geass films and instead of retelling the same story, which again is fine for what they're trying to do, but in a different project altogether, just remake it so you could fix the issue with the Ragnarok connection and get that part fixed for this film series, because that's one of the problems with the recap films. They don't really address the Ragnarok connection. They go along with it, which was kind of frustrating. But if you didn't watch the original series, you wouldn't even notice if they changed it or not, or if it even was a problem. So I wish they had taken the Evangelion route to at least fix those issues. But as it stands, the Code Geass films were better in this regard, because again, it was easy to follow. They only condensed parts that made sense. They didn't ruin any of the characters. They didn't change anyone's character development. They kept everything for the most part the same. Now, granted, because it is a recap film, they can't show every single person. They had the samurai stuff. But they didn't change the direction altogether and crap on pre-established lore. They kept things mostly the same to get you ready for the next story. If you want to make a film that answers your question about what happens at the end of your series, and you want to be accessible to fans, don't retell a brand new story. Just keep it basically the same. If you don't want to do that, then yeah, make a brand new story. But this was supposed to be accessible to the fans, and that's why the films failed. That's why I hated them. And spoiler alert, the next film afterwards, 3.0, 1.0, was god-awful. That movie hurt me a lot. And any story where you have to read up on a million pages on Wikipedia, watch a bunch of videos, post questions online, and you still feel like you don't know what the hell happened, yeah, that's how you know you got a bad story. Alright guys, thanks for letting me rant for like 3 hours. Alright, it seemed like 3 hours. Okay. I need like water, then I'm going to read a lot of comments. That felt good. You have no idea. You have no idea how I'm holding that in. You have no idea. Okay. Righty. Let me read some comments also. Let me check something real quick. Okay. I'm soaking in. There's another event coming up, or it's happening right now. It's the Christmas event for Geass, of course. For Genocide Code, rather. So I'm soaking to try to get my score high enough so I succeed. I didn't realize the event's over like next week, so I have to I gotta pick it up, as they say. Okay, 2 seconds, and then we'll start reading some comments, and then we'll get into the episode of the week, which I think were really good, actually. All right, here we go. I see you have your favorite girl, Cecile, in the thumbnail with the infamous dress. That dress doesn't seem to like something she'd wear, but she looks good in it. Probably not. In fact, she was embarrassed wearing it because it was for the, I think the purple was supposed to be diplomatic, like to show, as someone said, show Zero the goods. I don't even care. I think that dress is awesome, and Cecile wearing it is the only time where the fan service in Code Geass doesn't really piss me off. Because at least from a contextual point of view, having her wear that makes complete sense to me because she is... Again, it's a diplomatic situation, so being presentable helps. I'm not sure if the fan service helps, but, is what it is. Hello, dude. Welcome. I saw, by the way, the thing for the... Two things. I saw the trailer for the Dragon Ball Super film. It looks okay. The Gohan outfit was kind of weird. I saw the new trailer for Bleach. Looked awesome. Very excited about that one. I've been waiting a long time, like a lot of other guys, so that was pretty cool. I haven't seen the Code Geass recap films, even though I'm interested. If they were free on Netflix, I'd watch them right away, but I don't want to spend money on the recap films. Excuse me. You can watch them on an illegal site, which is what I did. Actually, that's not true. I got one of the films from my library. It was kind of random. One of the films, it was the third one, was at the library I go to. The other ones, no, I had to watch it illegally like everyone else. The problem is, the films are on DVD and you can buy them from Amazon, but they're so expensive. When they first came out, it was actually relatively cheap, but now it's super expensive, like everything else. They fell out of print. Like guys, I've told you like 1,000 times at this point. This film, The Resurrection, it's like $100. Okay, I paid like $10 for this thing on Amazon, maybe a couple months after it came out or something. And now, if you want to buy it, you have to spend your whole life savings on it. So stupid, because it's out of print. When it first came out, it was very cheap. So I don't know, bullcrap, but sure. But I do see your point. Well, I made my guide on it, and that's basically all you need to know. I think there's actually, on YouTube, you can find all the new scenes. I don't know what the channel is called or the thing, but there's all the new scenes. Heck, if you guys want, I'll make you one. I'll make a video that says all the new scenes from each film. Hopefully, I don't get copyright strike for it, but I would like to do that, or at least show you a clip of each one or something. I don't know, but yeah, if you want to watch it online legally, it's the best way, unfortunately, because no streaming sites have it for some reason. Fun what if question: what if Colin saved Lelouch after the BK betrayal? How would it affect the story, such as Colin learned Ragnarok connection to Lelouch, Zero Rectum, etc., etc.? If Colin joined Lelouch, that would have been really cool. You would have had the Lancelot Albion and the Gurren State 8 elements with Lelouch. Fighting for a better world, they probably would have won the battle. I mean, if Colin had stayed with Lelouch, that would have been the most... It wouldn't have been fair. You would just have... I mean, imagine the battle, right? It's like the whole Black Knight army with Schneisel are coming to fight Lelouch. And like, where's your army? It's right here. And you just see the Albion and the Satan 8 elements, and they just kill everybody. The fight's over like 20 seconds. It's the most disgusting massacre you'll ever see in your whole life. Except the fact that Flayas would kill them, so they need some units to, I guess, take the shots of the Flaya. But other than that, if you had the Satan elements and the Lancelot Alba on your side, you don't lose battles. You don't lose anything, for that matter. Any information on the R1, R2, and R3 movies having an English dub coming out? None that I know of. Christopher Sabat? Is that his name? Hold on, I'll look it up. Christopher... Sabat. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Christopher Sabat. That guy's a legendary voice actor, for sure. Did you know Ron Williams is a fan of Evangelion and originally wanted to appear in the rebuild films? He was going to voice Gendo. Oh my god, really? That would have been the best thing ever. Oh, wow. I didn't really like. You know, there's a scene in that one movie, I forgot what it was called, where he gives someone a toy from Evangelion. It was one of the Sele manufactured. What was it? Evangelion. Yeah, Evangelion's the one like not Colin, Asuka at the end of the film of End of Evangelion. So I didn't know that. Did not know that. It's really cool. All right, good. The whole stream was working. Yeah, that was kind of scary. If there was going to be a wedding for Lucian C2, what would it look like? I imagine it have flowers and everyone wore white clothing and everyone would be there, I guess. I thought they did have a wedding, though, right? End of a resurrection. I guess that was a little different because it was an informal wedding, but they still had one. Yeah, it came out this year. It was called 3.0 1.0. What they did was basically Funimation dubbed all the films many years ago, I imagine as they came out, and then Prime redubbed all the films. And I think they redubbed it. I haven't done research yet on this, but I assume they redubbed it because they didn't have the rights to Funimation's dub. So they had to do their own, which is stupid because Amazon's a much bigger company, so they could easily afford to redub the whole series. The series, if Funimation lost out, there was like some kind of money deal, and Funimation wasn't happy about it. Well, they screwed up because yeah, that was kind of dumb. I assume that's what happened. I'm guessing Code Man's supposed to be the Code Geass that Brave more Goofy and everything. Yep, that's correct. That's also correct too. Yes. There is no Cecile spin-off series. That would have been cool, though, because there are things about her past we don't know about, like her former lover that ran away. I think he died, too. According to Anno, the character Mari was only made because he didn't want to repeat the same story, so he created her. Also, just a rumor, Mari was meant to be based on Anno's wife. The first part you said is absolutely correct. My friend told me that same thing. It was that having her in the story would change the cycle or something. Even though, if you really think about it, I think he could have done that multiple different ways. He'd have to insert Mari into the story to change the cycle. One person, yes, does change things, but to me, it wasn't necessary. But that's a good point. The second part, I didn't know, and if it is, that's sad. Yeah, even like a lot of nudity. Did you not know? 14-year-olds. Who wins in a fight, Asuka or Colin? Obviously, Colin. Colin can flip. She's older than Asuka, stronger than Asuka. If we're talking about combat in the mechs, she wins that too. The Satan 8 element is Gundam level powerful. The Evangelions are not even close. They're stuck with plugs, and Colin's thing can fly and fire radiant wave surger blasts with ease. She could choke out it wouldn't, unless Asuka awakened her unit, which I'm not sure if she can even do that. And somehow she merges with Rey or whoever to cause an impact, then maybe she has a chance. But even then, honestly, I think she could still get destroyed. The problem with Evangelion is that it has a mix of sci-fi and magic. And so you're basically saying, like, if a magic machine fought against a more robotic machine, who would win? The robotic one, most likely, if the magic machine isn't using the advanced magic. That's why Evangelion is such a weird story. It has like a whole mythos of magic and spiritualism combined with the whole beast within. It's so weird. I'm not going to say it's stupid. It's just weird. But to answer your question, Colin wins, I'd say 9 out of 10 times. Who would win a mega fight? Unit 1 or Razafan? Are you serious? Razafan. All day, Razafan. That's not even a question, okay? The Razafan is stronger, doesn't require a plug, it can shoot an arrow, it can move really fast, it can stop those the sound waves from the Mullion. If it was to... Now, here's another question. Who would win? Awaken Unit 1 or Awaken Razafan? Again, the Razafan, because they can reshape everything in its desire. Like if Ayato has merged with Quan... And actually, hold on a second, I forgot to do something, which I'm kind of mad about. I keep forgetting to do this. Oh well. I think the voice is fine. My echo cancellation was off. Anyhow, if Ayato forms with Quan, they can he can reshape all of existence. I know the Evangelion can do something similar, But the difference is he doesn't have to like merge all of consciousness together. He just has to like Ayato just wills it, and he becomes a god basically at the end of Razafon. Spoiler alert. Sorry, Razafon would win. And let's say we're not using Awakening versus full formed Razafon when the black and the white one form. He'd still win. The Razafon isn't bound by anything mechanical. It's a spiritually powered creation. Oh my god, Unit One would die in moments. That'd be a fun battle. It's basically like this. So Unit One's like, like they're trying to run across like the ground, and the Rosafun's in the air laughing at him and just firing arrows until it blows up. It'd just be such a sad massacre. Rosafun is so much stronger than Unit One or any of the Avas for that matter. Evangelion Rebuild are Disney Star Wars films that were both awful and unneeded. Yeah, that's basically what I was arguing for the most part. Yep. Welcome, dude. What's happening? I just ripped on the Evangelion films for about an hour long, which I didn't think was going to go an hour long, but I did, and explained why the Code Geass recap films are way better, tell a way better succinct story, and actually accomplish their goals of getting you into the story, being more accessible. There is nothing accessible about the rebuild films. Absolutely not. I shouldn't need a guide or several to explain what the hell I just watched. That is crap. Again, CGI animes are often awful. Berserk, cough, cough. Berserk is one of the worst examples of CGI. If you want a good example of CGI, you got Attack on Titan. You have Free. I'm trying to know what had like really good CGI. Fate Zero had unbelievable CGI and does Unlimited Blade Works. So there are great examples where people who actually give a damn. No offense to the people who made the rebuild movies, could actually make something really nice and presentable and not so cheap that your eyes detect it. Some of the CGI in these films was just, it took you out of it. Like, I know you're watching animation, but it really felt like it. So, if you're going to do hand drawn for CGI, just don't do it. The recap films were not memorable. At times it felt rebranded. Are we talking about the Kogias ones or the rebuild? I'm not sure. If we're talking about the Kogias one, on some level, I do agree. Oh, Shinji. Oh, I kind of dunked on you guys. It's okay, I guess. Anyhow, the recap films for Rebuild, they were. That's if you're talking about the recap films for Evangelion, I completely agree with you because I watched the films back to back. Now, granted, when you binge watch things, you tend not to remember it, but nothing really stuck out to me. When I watched it. I kind of forgot a bunch of stuff. I watched it all again, my second watch through each of them, and again, it was just not memorable. If you ask me tomorrow or not tomorrow, maybe in a couple of months about the films, I probably won't remember anything from them because it was so bad. With the Kogias recap films, I did a whole long discussion about them. Maybe that's why maybe that's why I do remember a lot of the scenes very distinctly because I had to actually go through them. At the same time, though, I felt like those differences were more meaningful and the new scenes were actually entertaining. So maybe that's just me. I don't know. Now on topic. Turn 7. Seems to imply Lush was had attraction to Colin. No. We'll get into, if you want, I'll get into that later. I already kind of disproved that, but no, that's not the case at all. Most anime DVDs have shot up like crazy in the last few years. I still can't over how much my old Gundam DVDs have gone up in price. Wow, really? Crap, I should have bought some. Yeah, DVDs have gone up great. Like I got a good deal on the Eureka 7 DVDs, but yeah, some of the stuff is like extremely expensive. Everything is short print nowadays. So like if a film comes out that you like from an anime, buy it immediately. Don't wait. Just get it immediately. If it's a little expensive, fine, whatever. Once it's gone, it's gone. I've learned it the hard way. Just if you want something, just get it while you still can. It's crazy how things are selling out like hotcakes. That's true. Fair point. I'm just saying, like those are your options. You can also rent the films if you don't want to spend too much money. I believe Prime gives you, I think it's like $3 you can spend to rent each one. If that's too much money, I don't know what to tell you, but I believe Prime, I think it's $3 per each film. You can rent it out. So there's that. You got that option too. Read My Queen by Arthur Knight. It's a good fanfic where Colin immediately joins up with Lucian Roll after the Blind Night betrayal. Okay, I'm adding it to the list. What's it called? My Queen My queen, Arthurian knight. That's funny. You get it because Arthur. Yeah. Okay. I heard Ron was a top choice to play Professor Oak, the live action version of Pokemon. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Man, Ron Williams was a legend. Seriously, R.I.P. Left us way too soon. I often think about his works. I watched Good Will Hunting a couple years ago, and he was so good in that movie. Oh my god. I just think that bench, and I always say, it's not your fault. It's just, man, it's not ironic, but it's just sad that a very happy man or a person who played happy characters and made us all laugh for years was a very secretly depressed and broken man. It's such a tragedy, honestly. It's something I think about quite often. Well, not as often as you might think, but I do think about it quite often. You know what? It's not a coincidence because what the creators were basically implying is that they're both equally awesome and they're both number one waifus. In fact, someone on Reddit said a joke saying like, C2 is the number one girl, and I was saying, yeah, C2 is the number one girl. I agree with you, Cecile Crumey, very good. You figured it out. The guy's like, okay, you got me. I'm like, see, the show was trying to hint you guys that Cecile Crumey was the best character in the story. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, the show is self-evident at this point. I feel like since Lush is somewhat immortal, I think Geass might get stronger and possibly show us different sides of Lush. Yeah, like maybe Z ever capture if he's in it. I really thought Kogias, the compilation films, were doing what the Ava rebuild films did when Shirley led by showing it's a bad timeline Lush has to resist since the original one he did win. Yeah, again, that's a very good take on it, except that, or not except, just consider again that they changed small things in the films, right? Shirley living is a very, depending on who you ask, I guess. But from my point of view, it's not a big deal, right? Here will be a big deal, a change, for example. The Ragnarok connection doesn't happen, or it happens in a different way, or it succeeds, and people actually become part of the collective unconsciousness, or whatever the conscious rather, or the Zero Requiem doesn't happen, or I don't know, or if it does happen at Requiem, it fails, or something like that. Like that's a massive change, right? They follow the same path. They changed a couple things here and there. Evangelion went a whole different direction than what you could tell was originally planned. The first two films were heading off to a certain point. The third film was a complete mess of ideas that weren't going anywhere. So I see your point, but um, I think comparing Shirley's change to what happened in these films is like it's not really a good comparison. Didn't Asuka awaken '02 at the end of Evangelion? I mean, Shinnen was short lived because it was murdered by the mass production Evas, but still. Yeah, she did. That scene's awful. Again, I don't know what it is. I'm not a big fan of Asuka, like as a person, but part of me just really cared about her during that scene when those things ate her up. It was awful. That whole film, I watched it a couple of days ago, and man, that film was trippy as heck. But it just that scene is so hard to watch because you're seeing Asuka torn to pieces by these Avas, and it's like she was going through some weird mental stuff at the same time. It was just oh my god, that scene was awful for her. Not was well written. It was well written, but it was just awful. Yep, the Alucard or Helsing Bridge is fantastic. I totally agree. I've never seen SEO. I'll check it out though. I feel like Zero Caption is show a trailer of the anime. You wouldn't that be cool? I'm waiting on it because everyone said, "Hey guys, next year it's coming out." Okay, where's the trailer? Bleach just showed us a trailer. It's coming out next year in October, which is more towards the end of the year. So if Zero Capture was really doing well and it was production was really happening, where's the trailer? Where's the announcements? Where's the news? Nothing. There is nothing. The international fan base is big, and I feel like they should try to pay attention to that. Well, you know how they feel about that with the translations for their games. Oh, that's right, they don't translate anything. If the Kogias compilation films did follow Ava's rebuild style, what will they even be like? Everything starts out the same, but then R1 Lush wins a duel on Common Island. Will that be something, huh? I was just saying, like, they changed the whole Ragnarok connection setup, so it makes more sense. That would be my big change between. Man, I ate my food like I don't know, like hours ago. I'm still burping. But anyways, if I was to do that, I'd make the films kind of retell the same story in a sense, but change things up a little bit to set up the Ragnarok different. Maybe have it where C2 knows everything and doesn't even work with Lelouch, or Lelouch knows what's happening and works with them. You could definitely play. You could play around with that. You could have the Ragnarok connection to actually succeed. You could have an earlier version of it that failed and then they succeed. Something like that would be kind of cool. Maybe Luch actually gets trapped in there. I mean, there's tons of variations. Maybe when he dies at the end of the film, or the film, he's trapped in the Ragnarok connection, and part of the plan to get him out is to like stop that. In the meantime, like there's so many things you could do, so many variants and changes that could have made the story interesting, different, and meaningful, I guess. And well, the recap films didn't take any chances, which is again, if the purpose was accessibility, then they succeeded. I see. The Koga's overworld game on Imagination I saw Lush has a decent weapon, Colin with better weapons, Sokka best weapons. Yes, I agree. I've only watched the first episode of Goblin Slayer, and you guys know how that went. Lelouch would have it in between weapons, but not good. Colin would have some better weapons. I guess. I mean, Colin should have the best weapons, right? Asao Suzaku should only have access to Britannia, China, and Japan, but Lelouch Colin will explore Japan after a certain mission. What are we talking about here? My apology. I want to clarify. The first Evangelion films weren't. However, Thrice Upon a Time ending helped cover up just how bad the movies were. Yeah, that's a fair point. Because the films, that's what I was trying to say in my review, which was because the third film specifically had a terrible base, a terrible foundation. The fourth film had to basically take that story and work with it. And you saw how well that was. It was a contrived nonsense. Things flying in your face, CGI battles all over the place. There was constant words thrown at you really fast. This is this thing. That is that thing. Here's why we're here. This was done for that reason. And you're like, can you slow down? I have to process all this. Give me some time. I'll write down pen and paper. Let me jot all this down and try to think about what you just told me. You're throwing things at me at a million miles per hour, and I can't comprehend any of it. Like what I just did right there. Yeah, it did because the fourth film wasn't good because it had to build off the other three, which also, I mean, the first one was good, second one's okay, third one's just gross. That's a good point. I'm glad you clarified. I wasn't sure what you were talking about. Also, by welcome, Shinji. I've never seen you on my streams before, so thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. And it would keep people from doing stuff and pretending in China too. Got some more fanfic stuff here. Oh, you're talking about the game. Oh, I'm a moron. Okay, I'm like half asleep here. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, of course it'd be restricted. Yes, obviously. Yeah, that makes sense. GTA, Kogia style. They should combine the new scenes into one film. Well, I don't know. That'd be kind of it. Wouldn't make any sense though. Again, I think YouTube has the videos of all the new scenes. If you're curious, if you know, I'll look it up later after the stream. I'll find it. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool too. What if question? If Lelouch killed Cornelia after Geass, Cornelia, how would it affect the story? Honestly, it doesn't affect much. Cornelia's role in the R2 was basically pointless. No offense to her. She doesn't clear Yuffie's name. Her and Guilford, I mean, there's no real connection there. She doesn't take place in any of the major battles. She helps them defeat V2, but anyone could have been there. I mean, yeah, she rewired the Nightmare frame, but I feel like you could have had anyone rewire the Nightmare frame. The Nightmare frame. You also could have maybe had where they find a different way to kill V2. Cornelia's role in the R2, as sad as it is, there was no point to any of it. They didn't even care at all. It's sad. I mean, she could have just died and it would have been no different, unfortunately. I mean, she was Lucia's hostage and they did nothing with it. Here you have your sister. You can ask her any questions you want about what went on with the royal family, Marion, anything. And he doesn't even talk to her. He just lets her sit there for a while. Are you serious? You could have asked her anything. She could have worked with you. Like, what a waste, man. Don't even get me started with Cornelia. R2 was like, I'm going to double hit you. Or, double Double betrayal here. We're gonna do her dirty twice. One, we'll make her outfit embarrassing and insulting, and two, we'll give her no role in the story. Even though she was a main antagonist in the original series, we'll reduce her to nothing. Schneizel must be the guy who takes center stage. F. Cornelia, which is whatever. Don't get me started with that crap. Where the hell am I? Okay. I'm just kidding. Okay, and they had R1 with a trap on Comet Island. Lush wonders if he was meant for him. Yeah, it might have been. That's a good point. Look, it's your idea. It's totally fine. Okay, I got this shirt on Amazon. People ask me all the time, and it's really sad. I don't think they make it anymore. It's what you can do is there's a site, I believe it's called like make your own T-shirts. That's not what it's called, but you can make your own T-shirts with the design. I got it on Amazon months ago. I checked it recently. Apparently, they don't sell it anymore. I was like, oh, really? That's lame. There's a bunch like this on Amazon. They take like these classic art pictures of the characters and they make T-shirts out of it. I have no idea how that works for copyright infringement, if there's any. I guess it's transformative. I don't know. I will say make my own T-shirts at some point. I'd love to do that, but am I even legally allowed to? Who the hell knows? Yeah, I thought the same thing too on YouTube or something. Okay, we're almost done. Tell me one thing. Is there valuable gems that Go High would have after he's killed in the game? Will the gems go to Schneizel or later go in possession of Saku? Gems? Not sure what you mean by that. Like money or something? Oh, I wasn't following this conversation at all. You said there was only 40 minutes total within the three films, and you're saying well, yes, that's a whole nother discussion for another time. But basically, the whole new scenes were just there to bridge the gap. They were just there to explain things that you don't see on screen. That's what they were there for because they can't condense 50 episodes into three films and show you every single scene. So the new scenes just tell you, hey, this happened while you were watching, or this didn't happen for reasons we don't know, or maybe if you're wondering about this plot hole, we addressed it. People would go after Suzaku to get those gems back. Basically, a bunch of people would die to try to get those gems, and they're cursed, obviously. Cornelia Return R2 was awesome, which got by Bartley and threw a knife at V2. However, I feel like they need more screen time. Well, there's too many characters. That's the problem. It's good stuff, though. Keep it going. How are we doing? All right, we gotta get started. So I'm like going through the comments. I hate saying this, but Zaku is mostly unneeded until he kills Charles. He's just there because he's immune to Lucius Geass. That's a fair point. I mean, he helps in the Chinese Federation battles. At least he's doing something, right? What is Cornelia doing? Nothing. When it's all over, no one will get the gems. Yes, more gems. There's a funny comic strip of Cornelia trying to kill V2 multiple times on DeviantArt by Foxfire Art. Ours makes a comic strip for each episode. Okay, I'm looking it up. Foxfire Art Code Geass. Okay. Okay. Would Shadow be a good guy if he was going to be in Zero Capture? Yeah, he would be. Because in Zero Capture, he's under what's it called? The Geass to serve Zero. So if he was a nice guy in Resurrection, why would he be in the other one? So, okay. I think we finished all the comments. So let me get set up for episode discussions. Let me go hit that share button. You guys should share the stream too and like it if you like it. I don't have to tell you that, but everyone always says like, hey guys, you enjoyed the stream, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Do it. It just sounds freaking fake as hell, but I know everyone does that. Comment, subscribe, you like it, share it. Show your support. Okay, guys, we are now episode 2, and we're going to start episode 7. And we're looking at Colin's sweaty face, because apparently when you pilot nightmare frames, you get very, very sweaty. It's a weird observation. Does anyone else get sweaty in the nightmare frames? Is it just Colin? Is she crying too? Oh, they're tears. Hold on. She's not sweating. She's crying. God, I'm a moron. The whole time I never noticed. She's not sweating. She's crying because there's tears. Wow. I'm really dumb. Okay. Ignore my stupidity. Evangelion. For once, I have an excuse. The film's fried my brain. I've really been looking at it all the last couple of days. Okay. The film starts with probably one of the most creepiest scenes of Code Geass. No, not some like supernatural phenomenon. Lelouch wakes up and Rawls literally at his bed. Now, I have questions, and I'm not going to ask all of them, but I just wonder, like, why is he by his bed? What was even going on here? It's really creepy stuff. I mean, I know Rollo wants to protect Lelouch and he wants to take care of him, but he's literally like sleeping, dude. Leave him alone. I don't know. It's kind of creepy. He also whispers Nunnally, and Lelouch says, "Did I say anything in my sleep?" "No, brother. You didn't say anything." "Sure? You didn't say anything. Okay." Also, I forgot to mention, when this episode starts, you see it shows you Charles giving his speech, and I don't know if it's the same speech he gave for Clovis's death. Like, are they recapping that scene, or is it a brand new one where he gives the same speech? Doesn't really matter. I'm just throwing it out there. This whole episode, by the way, is really fascinating because basically Lelouch is going through a big crisis in his life, and the crisis is the following: if Nunnally is going to become the viceroy, and she's being protected by the Britannian forces and Suzaku Kudarugi, then what exactly is the purpose of the Black Knights anymore? Because they have none, right? They're supposed to make a gentler world and protect Nunnally, but if she's already being protected, what purpose does Lelouch serve? And so he's having these deep thoughts while everyone else is talking about the party or the vacation they're going, the trip rather they're going on. And it's funny because they ask Lelouch, what's wrong, Lelouch? "Oh, I'm excited just to go on the trip." It's like, "Oh, you're like a child." Deep down, he's like, how do I solve this dilemma? Do I have a purpose in my life? I mean, Lelouch, what's it called? He resorted to drug use. That's how bad this was. You gotta understand, Lelouch was going through a serious existential crisis of his existence because he basically, anything he planned to do, his whole purpose in life, was gone because of what happened with Nunnally. So he's like, what am I supposed to do at this point? I mean, the fact that he wanted to refrain just shows you his mental state in these episodes. That's what I took away from it, at least. If you remember, the last time when the SAS was being created, Yuffie was protecting Nunnally, and Lelouch was going to give the entire operation just for her. Excuse me. Which means, in a nutshell, that it means in a nutshell that his whole purpose, he didn't have it anymore. It's kind of sad, actually. Nunally's giving her speech about becoming viceroy and starting the special administrative zone of Japan. They're not sure why a princess is doing this. This scene is very important, by the way, because you see how Rivals and Shirley are not responding to Nunnally because they don't recognize her. It's, again, we already know their minds were rewritten, but still, it's good to see the continuity there. There's a scene where you see Cecile with Guilford, and obviously they're not a couple, but it was kind of cute. They were hanging out together because she takes care of him. Also gives him food, which was gross, but it was kind of funny. Oh my god, this scene. This scene has so much meaning now in Code Geass. We will never be able to look at Minami ever again. It is so depressing and funny at the same time that every time I watch the show, this scene will have so much meaning, like deep levels, man. Deep pedophilia levels. I bet Mimi watches the Evangelion films and gets very happy and excited to those movies. He must love those films so much. All right. Jokes aside, we see when she announces the special administrative zone of Japan, you see Suzaku is losing it because, well, that caused problems last time. By the way, here's Charles making that speech. Everyone in the Japanese people are like, "Are you serious? Is she an idiot? We were fooled once before. Are we going to really do this again? Come on, Nelly, you can't be this stupid." "I believe in gentler world." "Yeah, but they were fooled. They were fooled into a death trap. Gentler world." And then you see again, everyone's just like, "What? Like, no one ever go for this. No one wants to do this." It's really weird. Like, why she? I mean, I get why she wanted to bring the SAS back into play, but I thought about this when I was thinking about this. Okay, if Nunnally is the viceroy now, right? Why are we going through this whole route of trying to make the special administrative zone of Japan? Why not just make laws that make everyone's life better for the Japanese people? Make laws that say that Japanese people are treated as equals to Britannians. Make laws they can get jobs like anyone else. Make laws they can't be persecuted against. You are in charge. You can do whatever you want. Now, technically, That's not completely accurate because Alicia tells her, like, you are a viceroy, you are a representative of the royal family or empire rather, and you must act with their consent on certain things. However, if Nully framed it like this, where if we make these Japanese people recognized as Japanese, not 11s, we can elevate them to a satellite status and they'll be more productive for us, which would have worked. I'm still confused to this day, like why she didn't enact laws to make life better for everyone. Man, the gas is real. I mean, with the only thing they did in the story was they rebuild the Shikinu ghetto, and that was about it. I mean, my big thought was if Yuffie didn't die and she became viceroy of Area 11, I thought she was going to enact laws to make everyone's lives better. And the whole time I was thinking, the only reason why Yuffie has to even use the special administrative zone is because she doesn't have the authority to do anything else. But if she was a viceroy, couldn't she make laws that say everyone's treated equally? It's like bizarre. Why is Nelly going out of her way to do this when she could just make laws that would fix the problem? I know that persecution against 11s is part of their national policy, but as far as I know, you can change it if you have the authority to do so, which is what I thought Cornelia was implying to Yuffie in that one episode. I think it was stage 7 when they argued about it. So the way I saw it was, yeah, Nelly could easily, not easily, but she could make laws to make everyone's lives better and not just make a simple zone. She's a viceroy now. It's really weird. That was a long tangent, but I was thinking about that the whole time. Anyhow, during the speech, Lucius is obviously very depressed. He walks away to find refrain, I guess. Or no, he goes to the train station first. Not only is telling Suzaku, it's the right thing, right? Yes, it is. Yuffie was not wrong. Well, I mean, Yuffie's plan wouldn't have worked, and I've already gone over why, but the idea of it, I think, was good. The execution was not. Lucia's now on the train, and this is a really strange part. So Colin calls him. He rips the phone apart. No, he got the anti-tracer device, I believe. And so Colin's really upset because she was trying to comfort him. He throws out the phone when she calls him. I'm not sure symbolism there. Symbolism. We discussed that earlier with Evangelion. If there's anything, anyways, with that part. So Colin's confused why he won't pick up the phone. They can't find Zero. Kaguya comes back and we have one of the worst scenes in the entire series where she implies it's some kind of harem. Like, we 3 ladies of the court support Zero, or I'm glad you took care of him while I was gone. Now, I have a crazy theory about this, and I'm probably wrong, and Kaguya's just being an idiot. But she was saying how it's good. Men have certain needs, and if he has to have other women to get those needs, it's totally fine. Then she thanks C2 for taking care of Lelouch. So basically, was Kaguya saying that C2 and Lelouch were sleeping together? I have no idea. I know that's probably a weird way to think about it, but the whole time I was like, wait. Kaguya said Lelouch has needs, then tells C2, thank you for taking care of Lelouch. Or Zero, rather, because, she doesn't know his identity. I'm like, take care of him, right? Okay. What does that mean? And then the whole crap of like, we support Zero, we're late to the court. Yeah, it's so stupid. God, Kaguya's character is so insufferable. So Suzaku went after Zero, that's why he's not in bed. Oh, I love this part. So Lloyd takes one of his sandwiches, and Guilford tries to warn him. He's like, wait, don't do it, man. And he's like, oh, God, what is this? And he goes like jamming a bunch of stuff. It's hilarious. I love all the scenes when Cecile makes crazy food that makes everyone sick. It's just lovely in a weird way. But Guilford's like, don't do it. And unfortunately, Lloyd does. It's pretty funny. And in Lucius' depression, he makes everyone leave the train to get him a separate card. And then Rollo, apparently he smashed the window. He used Geass on this guard, and he made Nully's picture appear in every single video screen. And I think the purpose behind it was to draw a bigger wedge between him and Nully and make him more depressed, so he'll want to go to him, I guess. It is kind of surreal that you're on a train and like literally your wanted poster is on the wall. It's kind of funny to me. At least I enjoyed it. He runs away and he bangs some people. Again, they don't know who the hell he is. Then we see the entire Britannian royal fleet. Well, not the whole fleet, but the majority of them. And they're taking out like the Black Knights or going after them. We have a part where these different Britannian Japanese people are, what's it called? They're doing drug dealings. And Lucia's like, what are you guys doing? Japanese people. He goes, we're not Japanese. We're 11s. I don't know. It's weird stuff. And then eventually Lelouch uses Geass on all of them. He makes one do push-ups. He makes one howl, one do sit-ups, not sit squat, headstand. And I could be wrong, but this is the only scene in the entire Code Geass series and films included where Lelouch uses Geass on people and you don't see the eye animation that I can think of. Because he gets like 7 commands at once, and so therefore they didn't have the budget, I guess, to show every single command with the eyes. So this is what it would look like to an average person watching the series. You're like, what does it look like from a third-person point of view when Lelouch uses Geass on people? Well, here you go. You don't see anything. So that's a little funny part for your own information. And if you're wondering, these guys will stop doing this at some point because, as you know, Geass abilities or Geass commands will eventually stop when the people can no longer perform the task. So they don't like do push-ups and die forever, in case you're wondering. Then we see C2's talking to Marion about how Lelouch, if he gave 0, it'd be much easier, which makes no sense because, how do I put this? If Lelouch did that, he couldn't develop his Geass further enough to take away C2's code for the Ragnarok connection, and also to kill her. So I have no idea what she's talking about with Marion. Again, this is the part of the story that fails the most. The whole Ragnarok connection. Every conversation between C2 and Marion is cryptic and makes no sense. This is another example of those set conversations. Anyways, they're on a boat. They gotta escape because, again, if they don't, they're gonna be wiped out. I'm not sure what's happening here. Eventually, Lelouch is at the zone, and this is one of the most darkest part of the series because he's about to take refrain, and Colin finds a pair of the Chicken Nuggetto, which, again, they're rebuilding. That's one of the things they're doing in this story to help all the Japanese people. They're rebuilding. Again, if Nelly really wanted to help out, she could have done more. Maybe she was getting stonewalled by Alicia, but I really doubt it. Lelouch is about to take refrain because he's so deeply depressed, the fact that he has no purpose in life, that Nelly is fine without him. And so Colin throws it off and then says, will you get it back? And you got to be 0. You must pretend. Give me orders. What should I do? Play your role till it matters. She told Lelouch in episode 2, if you're 0, I'll support you. If you're not 0, I won't support you. So this is kind of the same in that regard. Hold on, let me close this out. Where was that comment? That's really no, you can't just close them automatically. Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, the whole scene here is really depressing because Colin has no purpose without the 0, at least seemingly no purpose, and Lelouch has no purpose without Nunnally. So both of them are going through this crisis where they need the other. Well, Lelouch doesn't need Colin, but Colin needs Lelouch to have a purpose in life, and Lelouch needs Nunnally to have purpose in life. But since both of them, like Nunnally doesn't, Lelouch doesn't need no. I know, tongue twister here. Okay, one more time. Colin needs Lelouch. Lelouch needs Nunnally. Nunnally is taken care of, so Lelouch's purpose in life there is no purpose. And Colin, therefore, has no one to look up to and get orders from. So therefore, both of them are lost in this world. That's why she freaks out when Lelouch doesn't want to be 0 anymore and needs him to give her orders. And so when he goes up to her and says, you can console me, this is not romance. This is nothing. Lelouch is acting desperately out of animal instincts, if you can call it that. He doesn't say, Colin, you're attractive looking. He doesn't compliment her at all. He just forces himself on her, which, I mean, I'm not sure where you guys come from, whoever believes. I'm not saying you specifically, just anyone in general. But I don't know if it's romance or love if you just go up to some random girl and say, you know what, console me. You're a girl, right? I have needs. You can satisfy those needs. That's such a generic take. It doesn't mean anything. And Colin rightfully slaps him in the face and tells him again, you must play your role, your part, like you mean it, and then she runs away. Because Lelouch, again, is just lost. They're both lost, and you see the result. Like, Lelouch has no meaning in life. Oh, I'll just have sex. I don't know. Who cares? He's just lost and depressed. In his current state, I wouldn't judge anything he says or does as romance in the scene here. And if it is, well, I don't get it. Then Rollo comes up to Lelouch. Remember, he kind of stalked him the whole time, right? He messed him with the train. He gets really close to his face. And what I like about this scene, and it's kind of a sick aspect to it, but Rollo's giving Lelouch a taste of his own medicine because Lelouch has manipulated him to support him. through the whole nightmare frame situation where he rescued him by taking the bullet that he, of course, arranged. So Roll's like, you know what? I'll be with you, Lelouch. I'll never abandon you. Excuse me. I will be with you, Lelouch. I will never abandon you. We have our promise. And so Lelouch is like, oh God, this is what it feels like to be manipulated by somebody. Not always fun on the other end, is it? Then Charles talks to Nully about the special military zone in Japan. And this, again, furthers my point from before. Charles is clearly supporting her ideas. He's not saying, Nully, you shouldn't do this. He's not saying, Nully, I don't agree with you. He's saying, he's fine with it. Alicia, on the other hand, well, we'll get to her later. So the point I'm trying to make is like, if she wanted to enact laws to make everyone's lives better, why would Charles be opposed to this? He wouldn't be. It's stupid. Apparently, she wants to be strong to face her brother or wherever he's at, because we don't know where he's at. And that's a big plot hole, by the way, because in the films, they fixed it by saying that they did know where Lush was because mine was fixed or rewritten. And so Alicia told her, like, no, you can't see him because it would ruin his like amnesia or something and make it worse. In the show, it's like they have no idea where Lush would be at, even though they clearly do. So it was one of the big plot holes of the story. Then Colin holds the Zero mask, and Tijo's like, it's heavier than it looks. The person who bears it or wears it bears the whole world on their hands. Then Colin says, yeah, but someone has to take the mantle. So here was my thoughts on this. And I could be wrong, but I think Colin believed that Lelouch was not going to be Zero ever again. I think him being there in his personal depression or his current depression, his state, he was clearly lost to everybody. So she was thinking, you know what? I'll be Zero. I'll put the outfit on. I'll be him. Because we need someone to stand up and lead Japan. Because Zero wasn't the one doing it anymore. That's just my opinion on the matter. It obviously didn't happen because Lelouch came in the end to save everybody. But I think deep down that was going to happen. Because he says, well, someone has to do it, basically. Then they're being attacked by Suzaku. He tells them to surrender, or in a couple hours they'll bomb the place. There's Suzaku. His head's cut off, but it's him. Then Lelouch and Raul, they come back to the school, but only Lelouch goes in there. He sees fireworks being shut off. He joins Rivel, Millie, and Shirley to fire off the fireworks. Apparently, Raul wasn't there for some reason. And Millie says, it's about the people you spend time with, not the vacation itself. That's why they wanted to do it here and not go on the trip. And it also makes sense, too, because remember, everyone in the school is gone that they knew, right, because of what happened with the Black Rebellion. So why would they even stay put anyway? So makes sense to me. And then Lush talks about happiness, and he goes like this whole abstract concept about how it has no form, or if it had a form, what it'd be like. And I don't remember the exact quote, but it was pretty deep. It's one of the parts where Lush discusses abstract concepts, which I said is a form of high, I believe it was logistical mathematical intelligence. He also imagined what it'd be like if everyone was together one last time with the student council, because they're so different now. Notice how Arthur is present, by the way, which is kind of funny, because I guess he's an honorary member too. So it's kind of sad. I really like this part of the story. It's kind of abstract, and for Geass, there's definitely nothing wrong with it. Eventually, he says, guys, I'll launch fireworks with you guys next year. And what's funny about this scene is that when I first watched Geass, this is, in 2009, right? Long time ago, I said to myself, they are never going to fire fireworks ever again. Anytime in anime where you have characters saying, you know what, guys, next year, we're going to do this again. Back in your mind, they are never doing this again. It's over. I've seen so many shows that do this. It's really sad because they're never going to launch fireworks again. Even if you watch the show, it's such a common trope I see where characters say, next year we'll do this. Yeah, we'll all do it next year. She dies, he dies, and these two shouldn't. I'm just kidding, but these two don't die. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's kind of depressing, but R2 kind of goes down that road. And you see again, Lucia's kind of depressed. Eventually, the bombardment occurs, and the Black Knights are basically screwed. If they try to fight back, they'll find a location, so they're kind of just sitting afloat. which is not a good strategy, but whatever. That's what they decided to do. Again, they're sinking down further in the submarine. Things aren't going well. Tamaki's like, we're all gonna die. And I'm thinking, great, Tamaki. We needed that. This was a cute scene. So basically, Lelouch says, Zero. He calls in and says, here's what you guys are going to do. And C2 like blushes because she smiles. And Kage's like, she's smiling because, they're happy with each other. Again, I think, like I said before, I believe that Kaguya thought that C2 and Lelouch were banging or hooking up because she could tell C2 is very happy to see him and wants to be with him. So, just my theory on it, gross theory, I guess. Then Suzaku decides to come in with a Lancelot to stop them. Lelouch gives them instructions to fire ahead at a certain device, and it causes like foam to come up from the sky, or from the sea rather, and it takes out all the ships. As you see here, there's like just bam, it takes them all out. And from my kill count, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I am, no one died in this scene. I think the boats were just submerged under soap or bubbles, whatever it is. No one actually is dead. So when you see these, where is it? I don't see it here, but there's a radar that shows you the it shows you, huh? Okay, well it's not here, but there's a radar that shows a bunch of like basically when unit's taken out, they show like a little red mark over it, and everything here has been red marked. But the unit might be disabled, but no one died in the ship, right? The thing just tipped over. Maybe one guy might have died, but not the whole group. So in my opinion, no one died in the scene. Then they're about to take out the Black Knights, and this epic moment where you see Lelouch on the Vincent. Oh my god, I love this scene, so good. And he stands up. I don't know, it's just so epic seeing Lelouch on top of the Vincent. It's one of the most epic scenes in the entire story. We will join the Special Administrative Zone of Japan. By the way, here is C2's pre-Lelouch coming back face, or when she first sees him coming back, and then when Kaguya smiles at her, you get this scene. So it's kind of funny. And then the episode ends because they're going to join the Special Administrative Zone of Japan. Or are they? Well, you guys know the plot, but okay, I think that's everything, right? Okay. All right. Any notes I have before I move on to the next thing? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I think Lelouch was thinking about this speech when he was sleeping. I'm not sure why they randomly showed the speech and then Lelouch waking up from his dream. Let's see. The Black Knights don't trust Nunnally. Yeah, they don't. Why would they? There's another thing I forgot to mention. So when they announced the Special Administrative Zone Japan, there was a part where the Japanese people were saying to themselves, wait a minute, I just became an honorary Britannian. So I don't need this anymore. I can work fine because I became I guess a dual citizen, if you will. So then someone said, like, okay, so I guess that the Special Administrative Zone of Japan are people who are unemployed. So I was confused. Are they saying that if you're Japanese and you refuse to become an honorary Britannian, you can't work in Area 11? So does that mean half the population isn't working this whole time? And so the SAS would be a good way for those people to get a job? I was a little confused about that. I got the impression they could work, but they didn't get a good job or something. Like they were restricted because they were 11s. Or Japanese people, not honorary Britannians. But that almost implied like if you were a Japanese who wouldn't become an honorary Britannian, you couldn't work, period. So I was a little confused about that. Let's see. I think that's everything. I don't remember if there wasn't a whole lot of stuff for this, but I think it's everything. Oh yeah, Zero has two costumes. This is kind of a weird thing I noticed, but if you remember, so you see how he has the costume on, right? But before that, there's a part where, hold up, almost, no, hold up, back forward, go back. Yeah. So if Colin has the helmet, it means there are two costumes. I guess Lelouch carries one on the submarine, and he has one on storage. And we know he has two costumes because in episode, I believe it was stage 13, when he went to go meet Taizo Kirihara, he had one that C2 wore and he had one he wore. So I wonder if the one that C2 has here is the duplicate one. Yeah, not really relevant, but I thought it was interesting. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Alush. Oh, it's another important part too. Alush's episode, his big way of getting over the whole situation with Nunnally is that he decided, okay, Nunnally is safe and protected. I'm going to move on from her, and now we're going to move on to the next step, which is taking out Britannia. So, in a way, his plans kind of have been changed from destroying Britannia or helping Nunnally to destroying Britannia. I guess because she's safe at the moment, he can move on to other stuff, which is good because I mean he can focus fully on his plans and not worry about Nunnally. So another round nitpick, another thing I noticed when she was in the submarine and they're waiting for Zero's help, she doesn't say, "I bet he'll ban us again." It would have been such a perfect time to insert that line in the story. I was like, Chiba, why isn't Chiba upset that Lelouch isn't here? He usually is very upset about it, but I guess she didn't want to. They didn't want to throw that in there, but that would have made sense. Yeah, that's what I got for that. So let's move on now to the picture drama for R2, because there's a picture drama. Then we'll read some comments and move on to episode 8. I got to make my battery action 8 minutes. Maybe I'll do it after I do the picture drama. Okay, this picture drama is really weird. And what's odd about it is that it takes place in stage 7. It's turn 7, but it takes place in stage 7. Basically, Lelouch is thinking back on a memory. So even though chronologically speaking, this takes place during stage 7, but Lelouch thinks about it during turn 7. Are you confused? Because I'm a little. Anyhow, there's some event going on. Where's my mouse? Okay. There's some event going on, and they're dressing Colin in this outfit for this big festival, and Colin's embarrassed because I guess Shirley was touching her in a very inappropriate spot, which makes sense because if you remember that one episode where they were in the what was it, the bathtub, again, a little inappropriate stuff going on there. They measured her in that episode, so I guess they're following up with that one. That was in stage 3. This is 4 episodes later, so makes sense. Nina says, kinky, and she's kind of like a little excited because she's into women. I think Millie's also too. From what this episode, that was one thing I noticed about it. So making Colin this outfit again, more fan service because Geass has to have fan service. It is what it is. Apparently, Shirley's good at sewing. Who knew? And then they're making her a costume. And basically, the way it's going to work is that they're all going to have someone that's going to escort them to the party. Usually, Lelouch escorts Nunnally, but they have a little twist this time. So making Colin this outfit. I guess she's holding her boobs together because I guess she's embarrassed. Also, they can't show nudity, even though they have in the past. So I don't know. That's what's going on here. Then we have Lelouch, Rivals, and Suzaku talking about the party, who's going to escort who. And basically, he said he was going to escort Nunnally, but Suzaku's like, I could do it. He's like, no, you can't do it. The animation here is actually pretty funny. And eventually, he said he was going to do it no matter what, but Suzaku's like, no, I'll do it. They eventually run in there, and Colin actually is very pretty looking. Notice how Lelouch isn't blushing or responding anyway. So obviously, if he had some attraction to her, it's not mutual. Meaning, like if she liked him, I mean, he's kind of, his face is kind of just whatever. Colin looks really good in this outfit, but no response there. What was the joke he made here? I don't know. Apparently, Nunnally says, "Yeah, I'm going with Suzaku. He's gonna be my escort." And Lelouch is like, "Wait, what? Then who am I going to escort?" And this is the part I got confused about. I'm not sure who Lelouch is supposed to be escorting. Was it Colin? I'm not sure, or Shirley, because Shirley's going with Rivel. So I'm not sure who Lelouch is escorting. Was it supposed to be Colin? I was a little confused about that. It probably was Colin. And then Colin got a little upset about that. Eventually, Arthur bites her outfit. She falls over, and everyone sees her naked. Because she's like, Colin, don't move, the dress isn't, and then it rips. And so you see Lucia's face. So I'm going to interpret this as everyone sees Colin naked, which is great because we always like seeing Colin naked. It's a rite of passage in Code Geass. If you're part of the student council and you haven't seen Colin naked yet, well, you're not there. You'll see it soon enough. It's part of the it's par for the course between Millie and Nina. Some fun scenes of Arthur, and there's that. Okay, I'm going to change my battery, use the facilities, and then we're going to start off with the comments and move on to episode 8. And I also got to do, let me set my soak still. Wait 2 seconds here. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay. Move over here. Our location. No, not even close. Okay. Oh, it was our location. Okay. All right. I will be right back. Okay, I guess it looks good. I thought it was cockeyed at first, but you know what? Came out pretty good. All right. Time for some comments, and then we'll move on to the next episode. Let's see. Yeah, that would be cool. I agree. He is creepy. I agree. At least in this context. His obsession towards Lelouch is kind of creepy. But in all fairness, it is Lucius' fault for manipulating him in the first place to make him need of him. Or to make him not need of him. What's the term? Possessive dependent is the right word I was thinking. No social skills. Yeah, he doesn't know personal spaces. It's funny. He like twice in an episode he was close to Luch, like way too close. Sure is. Um, well, I think it's because he was afraid that there might be another massacre or something like the last time. That's basically why. Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's not what. Can you imagine? It's like, what are you doing? Stop! Stop! Shut the hell up! Kind of weird that Yuffie needs to give up her claim to the throne for the Sass. It doesn't even apply to Nunnally. You know what? I think it's because the Empire. But they did. Well, here's the thing. I think the whole getting of the identity, as I may mention in my analysis of Euphemia, I think it was a two-part thing. First part, yes, she had to do it, I guess, to make this work, but also because I don't think she wanted to begin with. She didn't really want to be a royal princess. That was never the life she wanted. So I think it's a little different. There might have been some more elements to it besides the fact that again she had to. But you're right. None didn't have to do it. What the hell? That's weird. Plot hole? I don't know. Yeah, because Charles. That's what I was thinking too. Charles supported it. Oh no, I couldn't think of a difference. Hmm. That's another good point too. Yeah. So favoritism, pretty much. Yeah. That is also true because he wanted to become the Knight of One to take Area 11. I don't think he wanted Nelly to be involved in that anyway. So it's a bunch. I like these theories, but good conversation going on in the comment section. Yeah, that's possible. You know what? That's that right because he too is his mistress. So yeah, Kaguya assumes that they're sleeping together. That's probably what she was thinking when she said, "Thank you for taking care of Lelouch." But Situ was so dense, she didn't even realize the joke that she was saying there. They all have god complexes. Why not? Oh yeah, very cringy indeed. And she goes, "My husband, please stop. Just stop." Yeah, I don't know. It's bad. It is funny, but it's also terrifying because if you think about it, if Lelouch wanted to become a criminal with the Geass power, this is the kind of stuff he would do to people. He would make them like dance and perform tasks, and it just shows you that when Lelouch is unhinged, what he does with the Geass is absolutely terrifying. Let's pick a different image. Ah, yes, Yuffie. I abused you as a child, but it's okay. You love me, don't you? No, I'm repressing my feelings. That's my sister. Hmm. I love the imagery of all these characters. It's great. This one's the creepiest. The Dark Angel, the Light Angel, the Dark Angel, the Light Angel, the Dark Angel, like the witch. Anyways, where the hell am I? Okay, let's see. The Fantasy 2 has casual chats of Mariam working with Zero and the Black Knights is pretty weird, especially when the conversations don't make any sense. Ship, indeed. No, yeah, Johnny Bosch nailed it as Lelouch, one of the best roles he ever did. And that's saying something because I can't think of one role he was in that he was awful in, except for Jonathan. I thought he was not a good Jonathan. The English accent falls apart. Beyond him being Jonathan Joestar, he's all his roles are phenomenal. How do I make our brother more depressing? I'll give him Saizon. Lelouch, see Nully's speech. No, leave me alone. Well, shit. That's good. I got into debate over the Colin Lelouch scene over "You can't come of a plan, get it back." We debated over if it meant by his confidence or did it mean Nunnally, right? I thought it just meant like everything. I thought it meant like his whole I thought it was the confidence, but also his purpose in life to be Zero. I don't think it meant Nunnally, but apparently some people say it's Nunnally. I don't know. I remember an interview with the director where he said if Colin hadn't ran away, then Colin and Lush would not have been virgins. The next morning, that's funny. It's probably true though. They are gonna say it was Nelly. The problem for me is that I find it hard to believe that Colin would refer to Nelly as it, a blind crippled girl who loses his sister. And also, if you want to go further with that, right? It's not the fact that you just right. Everything you said is true, but I'll take you one step further, right? Not only is Nelly a person and a sister to Lelouch, but she's the reason for everything he does. So if Khan was really talking about Nunnally in a serious manner to appeal to Lelouch, that she would have said, "Get her back, the reason for your living." But she never says that, and I've made mention, I don't know, so many times at this point that every time the characters refer to Nunnally, that means they love the real Lelouch because they acknowledge the fact that Lelouch, or they acknowledge what Lelouch's real motivations are. They want to help him out in that department. At the beginning of R2, C2 talks about Nunnally and protecting Nunnally. She stops talking about the Geass contract. Shirley discusses with Rolla how she wants to help reunite Lelouch with Nunnally because he should be with his sister. And eventually, at the end, when Colin is with Lelouch in turn 19, he thinks Lelouch and tells him that Nunnally saved his life. So when they start talking about Nunnally, that's how you know they care about the real Lelouch. That's why, again, this whole thing is weird to me. But that's a good point. Why would she refer to a person as an it? No, he never does. Yeah, Charles didn't talk to any of his kids except for Schneisel, Lelouch, and Nunnally that I remember. Um, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, you're right because the Ragnarok connection implies living or dying has no meaning to him. I don't know. Who knows? Man, you're finding more holes than the Swiss cheese, Charles. Equality is wrong. Also, Charles, grants equality. Facts. Yeah, that'd be a funny meme. Also, Charles. Oh my God. See, just smiling when Zero returns really cute. Yeah, it's a nice scene for sure. I agree. It's some methane foam. Yeah, I know it wasn't soap. I was joking. It's foam. It wasn't soap. The cab wasn't sank. It's something that caused boats and planes sink in the Bermuda Triangle. So did they all? So serious question: did everyone on the ships die, or were they just floating safely in the boats? Like, could they be rescued? And so no one died, right? They're just floating and sinking. If you're still on the stream, answer my question. I'm confused. Please answer my question. Are they dead or they're just floating in the ship? Do you think we'll see the Kingdom Silk stand be explored about C2 statement about how they depart from the original order? No. I like to see it, but probably no. It was Hizaku, but Lelouch expanded on the ideas. Yes, it was Hizaku's idea. That's very true. Yes, that's a good point. Because if you remember, he says he moved on from Nunnally, acknowledging there's more to things than just her. Again, 7 was a very strong episode. Not a lot happened besides that last part at the end, but Lelouch realized he had to move on from Nunnally. And that's a big deal for him. We don't, unfortunately, he doesn't make it clear to her until later on in the end of Resurrection, but he had to move on to protect her into bigger things because he no longer had to be with her. Because she was protected by Suzaku and the Britannian Empire, and for Nunnally, for Lelouch, he doesn't have to worry about it at the moment. He can move on to bigger things, which is hard for him because his whole everything was based on protecting Nunnally. So it was a good moment. Um, what is explored more in the manga? I can't follow these conversations. Shirley needs to respect Colin's privacy. Maybe Shirley picked up the bad habit from Millie. Yeah. When they explain the part from the Geass horror, I think we should see it explored a bit more. Well, yeah, of course. Resurrection threw a lot at you with no explanations. Oh, well, that's true too. But like, if you do it correctly, you shouldn't write yourself into a corner. Um, I assume. You know what? I have no idea what the plan was. Honestly, were they going to catch Nolene and have her make legislation for them to keep her company? I have no idea what the plan was once they captured Nunley. That's a good point. I have no idea. I guess my best assumption would be if Nunley was captured in turn 6, what most likely would have occurred was maybe they make certain laws for the Javik people. Maybe they leverage her for certain things. I honestly I don't know what they would have done with her. I guess it was to protect her from Britannia rule, but beyond that, I have no idea. It's a strange question because now you're bringing the doubt. What was the point of the episode 6? I'm not sure. So Lucius seen Colin naked as many times as Suzaku, twice by my count. Yeah, he saw her naked in the tub, and he sees her naked in that outfit. And telling Suzaku saw her naked on the island, and Suzaku also saw her naked there as well. So yeah, they both have seen her naked twice. Again, seeing Colin naked is just it's a how I put this. It's a rite of passage. You have to see her naked. It's the rules. Even though she can't see, she saw it. That's great. It's true though. Imagine Lelouch had problems keeping her safe since the Black Knights would want to be her hostage. He'd probably have to fake her death just to stash her somewhere safe. Obviously. Twice as we know of, the student council is basically a strip Colin club. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That'd be a funny shirt. The Strip Colin Club. I'm going to make a note of that. The Strip. Uh, Hold on. The Strip Colin Club. Yeah, it's like the Black Knights do it too. I don't know. It is what it is. Actually, it's not. It's not our female students come keep their modesty. They all have fan service scenes, except for maybe Nina. Actually, no. Nina has fan service in Picture Drama 3. Remember, they're all in the tub together? So even Nina's not safe. And that table scene, if you're weird, I guess. Doesn't mean Lelouch wouldn't bother with Ashford anymore, so Shirley probably wouldn't have lived. Would have lived. I can see the rest of the series going the same until he kills Charles and Marion. Well, technically, yeah, once he leaves Ashford, there's no need to keep. Shirley would be fine, obviously. She was only targeted as unfortunately, an innocent bystander who got involved with things she shouldn't have, which was kind of depressing for her. I don't know about that. Oh, I know. Iroh's Ring, Oz's Reflection, and like I like what's her name, Alderaan a lot, but man, her and Marika, they just have to show everything, all the angles. She takes a shower. I mean, the first was it the first chapter or the first volume, whichever one it was. Alderaan takes a shower, and then she is in the bathtub, and she's doing one of those. She's a cloth covering her nipples, but she's basically naked. I mean, it's like wow. Some of the angles in Oz's Reflection are just flat out insulting. I definitely agree. If they were to animate it, it'd probably be a very popular show, but not for the right reasons. I still want to animate it though because I think the story itself is cool, and I like a new but familiar story in the Geass universe. And given how Resurrection was okay, Genocide Code is terrible. If they make Zero capture like either of those two stories, well, we're screwed. So maybe not do that and animate what's already existing at this point. Yeah, she's what? She's like 15. It's kind of weird. 15, 14. I don't know. It's bad. Yeah, it's just the problem with these discussions is that my understanding of the story, and it could be wrong. I thought that Marion was trying to guide the Lelouch to help. Marion wanted C2 to guide the Lelouch to develop his Geass to the point where they could use it for the Ragnarok connection or something. That's what I thought was going on. So C2 must protect the Lelouch to help her contract be fulfilled and die, and also help out the Ragnarok connection. So that's why they're talking this whole time. But some of these conversations that they have, like, don't make any sense. Like the one they're having in this episode, C2's like, yeah, if he stops being Zero, then he'll be safe. But like, who cares about that? You don't care about him being safe. You want him for his code or to take a code. That's why I was so confused by it. It was like C2 said, all right, I'll keep him focused. We'll get the job done. It was more like, well, he could just stop doing all this. It's like, isn't that counterproductive? That would be kind of funny. Does anyone have any kids though? I'm not sure, but that's funny though. Yeah, I don't think they died. In my video, they're alive. Okay, I'm not going to count what 20 crew members per. How many ships were there? 14. I'm not doing it. They're alive in my book. I don't see any lifeboats, so it's unknown. But most of the of those below deck are probably drowning. I'll say this much: the nightmare frames blew up, so they're dead. The ones that were floating on the water, they're all dead. That is definitely confirmed. Everyone else, though, I have no idea. Damn it, you're not making my job easy. Okay, I guess everyone did die. Fine, fine. Well, we're going to assume that, what was it, 14 boats? Let's go back. I don't know, it was like 20, 30. It was a lot of ships. Like, look at this. It's just everywhere. Okay, fine. They're all dead. They're all dead. That's how we're going to go with this. They're all dead. Fine. There were those lifeboats. Fair point. Can you imagine Lelouch goes full Joker on all? All it takes is one bad day. Yeah. The world's awful. Everyone's awful these days. In that foam or crushed by the capsizing ships. All right, fine. They're dead. I got it. They're dead. I can't be lazy. I remind you of that great line from Archer. Why do you bother covering up? We all see you naked. No, you haven't. Oh my god. I don't even get the reference, but that's still brilliant. It's true. It's like, why do you bother covering up? Yeah, exactly. Everyone's seeing her naked. It's unfortunate, but Colin's fan service and Kogias is such a meme at this point. I still take her seriously, but I don't know why they had to go that route for character. Okay, that's what I was looking at. Zero kills hundreds of Britannians. I'll join the SAS. Okay, Gino, open fire and no. See, when you bring it up here, this is exactly why I was confused with the scene, because it's not funny. Nothing about this is funny. But my interpretation was this: Lelouch didn't kill any of those people because if he had, would Suzaku have taken his hand, to join him? He didn't have to he disabled all the ships, probably killed hundreds of people, and now he's like, I'll join the SAS. Here's my question: couldn't he have just flown up to the boats where Suzaku was and just say, I'll join the SAS? Did anyone have to die for this? The answer is no. That's the problem with the scene. It's he could have just skipped the whole scene with the boats and just flown up to Suzaku and said, "Hey, look, I'll join the SAS. Let's stop the fighting." So that's why I interpret the scene where they didn't die, and that's why Suzaku was willing to join him. But if they did die, then yes, it makes no sense why they would join him. But now that we've concluded that they probably did die, now I'm confused. I'm not sure what to believe anymore. Basically, I'm Tamaki right now. What's going on? And Minami's like, hey, Kaga, are you doing anything later tonight? I'm married to Master Zero. I know, but are you busy? I need you for a photography event. What? Photography, It's one of my passions in life. I love taking photographs of people, specific people. Anyways, I don't want to go further with that. I mean, merch shirt, strip Colin Nega t-shirt coming out next year. Mark it down, people. We're gonna get a strip Colin t-shirt. I'm writing it down because I'm actually gonna forget a t-shirt. Basically, we're gonna have a bunch of memes for the shirts, all the jokes we've made on this channel. Like Me, he'll be one of the biggest ones. Kogia's deep secret. Oh yeah, strip Colin Club. Oh yeah, the guardian of what was it, time and stuff from Akito Exiled. Yeah, I was wondering why in the films they didn't have her show up, or it show up. I guess the god. Who knows? By the time Nelly came into power in R2, the Japanese government under Cornelia was revealed to be corrupt bureaucracy. Yeah, but they destroyed it too. Remember? And there was a part in the episode of, my words were jumbled like an idiot there, but there's a part where they actually stopped it. They took out all the people because you're right. In stage 12, they wouldn't stop Kyoto because they had some dealings going on. But by stage, I don't know, was it 25, 4, 3? I don't know, one of those episodes. They arrested all those guys. Oh, no, it was episode 22. because 21 is when she announced the special administrative zone of Japan. So in 22, they arrested all those corrupt bureaucrats. The word came out, thank God. And when they did that, it was over. The corruption was officially removed thanks to Bartley and also Dalton. So no, it was corrupted, but they fixed it. And I don't blame you for getting that wrong or not knowing. It was a small side plot in the story, and if you literally missed one part of episode 22, you missed the whole thing. They should have made a bigger deal out of it, but technically, the corruption was ended thanks to Bartley and Dalton. That's what I was thinking. But they never went that direction. I don't know. It's so bizarre. That's what I thought was going to happen. But then apparently they used C2's code anyways. Who the hell knows? I think those are just round to the Geass order. Remember those kids you see in the was it turn 21? You see a bunch of kids. I assume it's part of the Geass order. I don't think there was any more to it than that. Don't hide it. Oh my god. Zero and sad. I wish you talked to Prince Nelly alone. Suzaku. Bullshit, you will. It's so sad you have to like censor that out, but that's great. That's fantastic. I got to Nelly alone. We're not doing this again. Why would you be a fan service girl, Lelouch? Because you are Colin. I'm going to kill you. Or no, what we'll do is I'll give you the Evangelion answer. Colin tells Lelouch, why do you have to be the fan service girl, Lelouch? Because there's no one else. It has to be you. And if you won't put on the bunny suit, then get out. And C2 will wear the bunny suit. Bring in C2. And here comes C2. She's like in bandages and a bed recovering, even though C2 heals really fast. But still, you're here, Colin, be the fan service girl because no one else can be. Now put on this bunny suit or get out. That's basically what happened between R2 and R1 when they went to go rescue Lush at the Babel Tower. Oh my god, Evangelion has destroyed my brain. What you're seeing is the remnants of a broken, confused man. So I saw this redhead girl naked down the hall. What's up with that, Luzaku? You get used to it. Oh man, there's like no fan service in that episode, but like we're just going off on it. Yeah, you get used to it. It's true, but Colin gets the most. I think after Colin, it's probably C. No, that's hard. C2 doesn't get as much. Huh? Who is next? Is it Chiba? Cornelia? I think it's one. I think it's Cornelia's next, and then maybe Chiba, and then C2. If we're including the OVAs, then Ino is definitely like Colin. They're both used in the same manner, unfortunately. Ino is not as bad though, but still. If we're talking about original series, C2 has a couple moments, but they're not like Colin. There's like a couple scenes where you see C2's butt in your face. One suggestive angle in a nightmare frame that I could think of, and that's about it. You don't see her. You see C2 naked once, but I wouldn't call that fan service. It was quite creepy and disturbing. So I think it's Cornelia than Chiba. I'm not sure. This conversation is more interesting to the show, I guess. Geass first time was having a serious race of people. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then Charles like the Ragnarok connection. I know what you're referring to. I think that was just the members of the Geass order. Those kids they showed you in the in turn 21. Oh my god, seriously? This comment, absolutely. Do you know one of my complaints about the Code Geass series, they don't explain enough stuff. So my thought has always been, I've expressed this, God, so many times at this point, don't make a brand new anime. Nobody wants that. Take the current story you have and add more. So animate as a reflection. How about make a brand new anime that discusses the backstory of Geass, where it comes from, and if it contradicts the original canon, we'll make sure it doesn't by writing a good script and good plot and good characters and all that stuff. Like make sure it doesn't contradict the current canon. Or if it does, try to make sense of how it could and not like if you're gonna change stuff and it might contradict the current canon, then retcon where appropriate, obviously. But there's so much lore in this series that never gets explored. You could talk about what happened between R1 and R2, besides obviously Oz's reflection and also Lancelot and Gurren. You could animate all that stuff. There's so many directions you could take it, and that's why a new anime to me is like it's great I'm glad they're doing that because it means more Code Geass stuff. At the same time, though, guys, R2 was rushed. Want to fix that? Maybe make, I don't know, 50 episode R2 season, like remake it and expand all the ideas and actually show what happened. How about fix your mistakes, guys, instead of pretending they don't exist? That's what they're doing. They're running away from their problems. Don't run away, guys. Don't be like Shinji. I mustn't run away. I mustn't run away. I mustn't run away. I am so sorry I subjected you to that. But the point I'm trying to make is like, don't be like Shinji. Don't run away from this story and fix it. Why not? I must be insane. Like Ogi. It was never explored. That's frustrating. Though we can say those kids were the Geass were actually gods or something. Huh. Okay, then I have no idea. Well, God in anime is always a subjective term. Valletta. I forgot about Valletta. How could I forget Valletta? That's sad. So Valletta, yes. I think in R2 she had more than C2 and Chiba and Cornelia, or the same as Cornelia. Okay, guys, I'm going to do a tier list. I'm going to write a note about this. I'll post it in the Discord server. Not today, but I'll get to it at some point. It's going to be the fan service tier list, and basically, I'm going to rank who gets the most fan service versus the least. That'd be kind of fun, right? Who gets the dirtiest the most, or who they do dirty the most, and I'll even include Oz the Reflection, not Oz the Reflection, Akito the Exiled. So anime only. So Shamna is included as well because, as you know, Shamna is quite impressive. I think Geass was alien originally. Who the hell knows? No, I think he sees Jean Roll naked. Not Ash. Not Ino. I think you're confusing Ino with John. You mean the part where they're in a bathroom and John comes out of the bathtub with a gun and he points at Ashley? Yeah, the reason why, by the way, he's not phased out, and it is completely understandable. Even though Ashley and John are from two different worlds, they're kind of like siblings because they were both rescued by Shin Hyuga at the same time, so they share a very strong connection, like siblings. So he's not freaked out because, in a sense, John is like his sister. When they first interact in episode 2, and he's like pointing a gun at people, saying like, "Are you feeling lucky, punk?" Like that movie from what is his name? You gotta be kidding me! Did Evangelion really fry my brains? What the hell is this? Clint Eastwood? There we go. That Clint Eastwood movie. Dirty Harry, I think. So so because they're like siblings, he wasn't freaked out by it. That's my opinion. That's why he wasn't. And I think you're thinking of Jean Leroy. You may correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall Ayano being an exhibitionist in Akito the Exiled, although she does open her shirt up. But if you only play Jesari Code, you think otherwise. Lloyd, yeah, I agree. Schneisel, yeah, sure, why not? There's no male fan service in the story, except for some of that art, if you want to call it that. Yeah, and the Ages of Evangelion, Evangias. Oh my god. I think Wiki states that people are ordinary creators of coding Geass, elevators to C's world. Well, we need full answers to know for sure. Oz had Leon and Tink in suggestive poses. It's even revealed, but it even out Olerin lifting Mari's dress. She likes black. Oh yeah, there was this one scene where was it what did Maribel fall under that one guy and he saw no did this guy fall under Maribel and saw her panties or something? Yeah, it was really stupid stuff. Yes, we need answers. That's the point. Give us answers, but don't give us Evangelion answers. Give us actual answers. I don't think Octo Exile or Alpha are same stories R1 or 2 because C2 is not giving anyone but Mao and Loesch Geass. Well, C2 technically this is actually you bring up a very important point. Technically, C2 met Layla before Mao and Lelouch. She pre she's the predecessor to Mao and Lelouch. Layla is, I believe, the same age as Lelouch, and she met her before she met Mao, who is younger than Lelouch. So the point I make is that she could have given RPO contracts in the past. We know she gave Lorenzo a Geass ability in Renia of Darkness, so it's not that far-fetched, right? So I believe, and also, not that it matters, but technically in the canon of Code Geass, they do take place between R1 and R2. Interesting enough, Oh my god, please. Sorry. Interesting enough, Oz Reflection takes place between R1 R2, and then O2 takes place after, um, or same time as R2. Uh, it's going to be females first. We'll do females and males. No, we'll do females, then males, then females and males. Um, okay, if you wonder, we'll get started. I'm like just reading comments. It doesn't sound like it takes place in a completely different same story because there's lots of differences. They don't take place in the main canon. Yeah, there are some contradictory statements, but overall, though, it does like look. That's what they said. Okay, do I admit there's some retcons? Yes, but for the most part, it the problem essentially is that because they were written after R1 and R2, the characters in R1 and R2 don't know about those events, so they don't act like they should. But in the films, and again, this is you interpret it the way you want. In the films, they acknowledge Oz and Akira the Exile's existence within those stories. So in that respect, it does exist. And the other thing too, you gotta understand is that in Oz the Reflection, this is getting really complicated, but I'll try to keep this simple as possible. In Oz the Reflection, there's a big change in the story where Marika, you think she's dead in turn 18 when she blows up thanks to Colin, but actually Leon saves her. And so that happens in the original timeline. The reason why that's important to bring up is because in the new timeline, the recap films, Marika is a guy. She's not part of the Valkyrie squad with Bradley. So she wasn't even rescued by Leonard. I think his name is Leonard. But but you still see the High Grail fighting in the third film. So Oz of Reflection still took place, but it was retconned like twice. What this means in a nutshell is that the only way Oz of Reflection could have actually made sense if it took place between R1 and R2 and not in the alternative universe films. I know what you're saying, but the way they justify it is that it was written afterwards, so some stuff won't add up. But overall, though, the stories do connect. It is a little confusing, though. Okay, two more comments. Really? What picture drama? I've really? Man, you always own me on this stuff. What picture drama do they? Okay, I'll look it up later for research purposes, of course. Yeah, they're part of it. I don't know what the. Yeah, there's a couple naked scenes. I made you naked. Um, yeah, but okay, maybe that's not the impression I got because, well, yes, there is some truth to what you're saying because technically speaking, Alicia said you had to ask. You can't just do things on your own. You have to ask for permission. But she did do the whole thing without Charles's consent originally. Then she got permission for it. So I guess they don't have actual power, but they kind of do. It's a little confusing. The way I feel is that I think as a viceroy, she could have done more than what she did. That's all I'm saying. Maybe they wouldn't have allowed it, but she could have pushed for more. I don't think she actually did. Um, okay. Well, anyways, we can't go on council. They will be here forever, which I'm okay with. But I'm not sure if you guys are. Let's go through 8, then we can do more fun comments and hang out stuff as I try to cope with what I watched this week. Okay. Turn 8. Turn 8 is, well, Turn 8's a great episode. I know. It's silly because of the whole a million zeros, but you know what? I didn't care. I went with it. You know, it was supposed to be a silly scene, so. Or not silly. I don't think take it too seriously. Here's Aino, the Rei Ayanami of Code Geass. All the characters. Okay, episode. So we start off where we left off last time, where Rolo is with Lelouch. Keep your promise, brother. I will. And basically, Zako's like, you just killed all our troops, but you want to join the SAS, so we can't harm you, and we'll pull back. Okay, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 boats. They're all dead, apparently. So if we do the math, that means that, let's see. what? There were maybe 200 people that died? Lovely. Also, Valletta is telling them not to go after C2 because, again, she has to work with Lelouch. Otherwise, it'll come out between her and Ogi, and she'll lose her position. So she's trying to make sure Rawl doesn't get captured because if he does, then she's screwed too. There's a really good scene here that I think should have been explored more. Basically, Toto tells Ogi if Zero doesn't make decisions that positively help us out, and Toto's like, "What do you mean by that?" Basically, what Toto was saying was, "We're going to rebel against him." And what I like about this scene is, again, when the Black Knights betray Lelouch in turn 19, it wasn't just some kind of random thing that occurred. There was constant dissension among the group throughout R1, especially after the Black Rebellion went into R2. So it's not like this was a complete surprise they would do it. I like how there's a small little thing happening between the scenes, as you see there. Asina looks ridiculous from that angle. Oh my god, Kaguya hugs Lelouch and he's just like, dude, just get off me. I'm glad you're happy, Kaguya. We're not getting married. Lelouch then discusses the idea with these Black Knight members. You don't see it, but he discussed the idea of how being Japanese is in the heart. It's not location or any of that stuff. It's who you are as an individual or something. Something like that. Chiba is, of course, always angry at Zero. She wants to literally kill him. So they do join the SAS, and it starts getting worked. They start working on it. This is the part I mentioned before. I got ahead of myself. This is where they're discussing the idea how, like, if they become honorary Britannians, or if they are honorary Britannians, they don't have to. They get work now. So what's the point? What's the point going back to Japanese? And they were saying how, like, the only people who might need this if they are unemployed. Again, I guess because they're discriminated against. I believe that's what the logic was there. Here's the ad for it. No one signs up, by the way. Like, literally nobody did. It was kind of funny. Nobody signed up for the SAS. I guess people aren't stupid. Who knew? Valletta in this very nice fan service scene, and then Shirley adjusts her pants or her swimsuit when she gets out of the water. Nellie's doing a charter for something, and then Alicia tells her, listen, just because you're a viceroy, you don't have real power. She says, I actually wrote the exact thing. It was, so viceroys rule on behalf of the empire. So that's why I was saying before, why can't she legislate anything? So basically, I got the impression from reading that last comment, this one here, that I guess she can't legislate anything because it has to go through the empire first. Which again makes you wonder what's the point of these people if they don't have any real authority. But I guess that's just that's just how it goes. I would have preferred if Nelly tried to push more legislation and gets rejected. That would be much better because I think Yuffie would have done that if she did become the viceroy, assuming the SAS was never a thing, because she gave her, her claim to the throne. That's just something I was thinking about because if she could do this act and it got approved, why not try to push other stuff in? Play some politics, but I guess not. They're working on the garden. Apparently, Suzaku has to go on some missions, so he won't be there, which is kind of sad. And Lelouch, of course, discusses how, well, not of course, but he discusses how Nell was on the phone. They're like, wait, you were on the phone with the viceroy? Again, he's trying to keep that act going. His memory hasn't come back yet, which Suzaku's like, has your memories come back yet, Lelouch? Are you sure? He can't believe it because he's still acting so naive and stupid. By the way, I never noticed before, but if you look carefully enough, I'll zoom in a little bit. Actually, I won't. Kind of want to mess the thing up. But you see Rollo's face? My God, I think he wants to kill him. Like, look at that face. It's like, how dare anyone try to get close to my Lelouch? You go here, and if you touch him, I will kill you. You see this eye? Man, Rollo is just... If looks could kill, man, if looks could kill, Suzaku would be dead long time ago. Then we see Suzaku contemplating about, okay, why did you kill Yuffie? Could you have found another choice? Because he's still upset about it, understandably so. I in my video discussing the relationship between Suzaku and Euphemia, I believe I perfectly laid out, well, not perfect because I'm not, but I think I adequately laid out why without Yuffie, Suzaku had like no purpose in life or no one really understood him in that way, and so therefore his whole life is kind of ruined now without her. And he keeps going back and forth like, why would he kill Yuffie? What happened with the Geass power? He doesn't understand enough about it. I kind of wish Lucius told Zaku straight out, listen, I killed Yuffie for one reason only. I can't undo the Geass power command we gave to her. If I didn't kill her, she would have spent the rest of her life trying to kill Japanese people, including yourself. We could have locked her into a mental asylum. I don't know how you would have felt about that. Maybe if we put her away like the girl who was marking the crosses, maybe she would stop because she could no longer uh, do the command. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe Luke always wanted to kill Yuffie. I don't think that's the case, right? So there's definitely a lot of areas you look at it. But the way I understood it was she would never stop, so she had to die. Of course, maybe quarantine might have helped. Who the hell knows? Anyways, this Japanese dragon has to kill Zaku. He wanted to die, but because of his Geass command to live, he stops him. Which he mentions how it pisses him off because he wants to die, but the command robbed him of that ability to do so. Even though there's one weird part about this that I don't understand, and that is when he was a female, he didn't want to die anymore. So this must be like since she died or something, or prior to her death. Because I still got the impression that when he was with Euphemia, he didn't want to die anymore. She gave him a reason to live besides his current mission. Okay, he started discussing the plans. Basically, he's going to get Sayako to talk to Chinese Federation to get that big iceberg ship for later on in the episode. That's part of Lucius' plan to move 1,000,000 people. Lucius is really impressed by Dietar's plan here, as he says, "Good job, you're really good at your work." And Dietar's like, "Oh, thank you, Zero. Your words, they hit me here. They hit me where I live." God, I've worked like 30 times in this stream. Now here's a weird part. Okay, actually before that, so Lelouch and Raul discuss how they're connected because if V2 figured out Raul's traitor, he'd kill him and then kill Lelouch. So they're connected in their fate currently. That's the main discussion. While they have to keep going together and also fulfilling their dreams. Valletta comes in here, and I'm still confused to this day exactly her role in this, but she walks in and she's like, "Zero, what should I do?" And Lelouch is like, "If you say Zero, you might give away my identity." And he goes, "Okay, Lelouch, what should I do? Do you love Ogi?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then eventually we find out later on that her plan, I don't know what the plan was exactly. Also, Valletta's hair, I mean, it's kind of weird. I won't lie. Meanwhile, back in Texas, Nina is making a nuclear bomb. Schneizel visits her, and apparently Cannon made peace with the French. All in one sentence, we learn all this. We go back to a flashback where, where's the flashback? Okay, never mind. We're not there yet. I might ahead of myself. Schneider discussed the idea of like if you, if you throw peace at people or if you hasten it, you're gonna ruin stuff, something like that. Because Nina's like, "Oh, you're making peace? Well, keep pressing forward keep pressing forward. Press forward too hard, Nina, and you'll fail." By the way, Schneider is 6'7", in case you guys didn't know. And compared to Nina, man, is he gigantic. Is Ken like 6'4"? My God. Everyone in the show was just gigantic, but Schneider is literally 6'7". It's not always clear because everyone in the pretend royal military and the family are all huge, but Nina is like nothing compared to him. It's kind of funny. Okay. Anya's playing for her phone because she doesn't know her memories are gone, so she constantly keeps record of everything. Zaku appears in his traditional robes for some reason. I guess he likes wearing them when he was training. Of the old days. Anya likes cats, which is nice, I guess. They talk about their past and things like that. And Claudio comes in here. I'm not sure. Yeah, Claudio. More scenes of him. Thanks to Gladiator King. Now I think about Claudio every time I watch the show. Like, where's Claudio's scenes? So he gave Zaku a paper to fill out to arrange the not the assassination, the capital punishment of the guy who tried stabbing him. But they move on to the next scene where you see, Nina's talking to Cannon about what happened. So we finally learn after 8 episodes what happened in the end episode. Basically, the bomb didn't work, and Cecile disarmed it. And so what does Schneider tell Nina? What's the reasonable thing to say? You were doing it for Yuffie. You did it for Yuffie. You wanted to help her out. And because of that, we must keep fighting for the future. Not, you're insane, you have mental problems, let's take you to get some therapy, self-healing and stuff like that. No, You wanted to help Yuffie, and we'll keep going. I believe in you, Nina. You're a strong and powerful girl. Deep down, he's thinking, this woman has to be one of the mentally weakest I've ever seen in my life. If I keep feeding her this nonsense, she'll make me all the nuclear weapons in the world. Britannia will conquer everything. Nina, you are going to be my ticket to becoming the king of this world. And she's thinking, what did you just think about Schneidel? Nothing. It's for Yuffie. That's basically what's going on here. It's such double speak from Schneidel. He's like the biggest dick in the show. And the worst part is, most people don't even know how much of a dick he is. Anyway, there's Claudio, and Anya signs it for Suzaku. And then she says, are you some kind of masochist? You come down to Area 11. They hate you. You're the traitor of the Japanese people, but the Britannians hate you too. So what's the point of all this stuff? And Suzaku says, as I mentioned in my video, someone did understand me, but, well, she's gone now, so who cares anymore? I'm a sinner. I'm a bad person. It is what it is. And there's Area 11, which is kind of cool. All right, now we get to the best scene in Code Geass. Let's be honest. This is the greatest scene to have ever been created in the whole show. Forget about the Ragnarok connection, the Zero Requiem, the Black Rebellion, I don't know, turn 6, turn 18. No, this is the best scene in the whole series. I made a joke earlier that the one in turn Stage 25 was great. No, this is the greatest scene to have ever been animated in history. There is nothing wrong with it. It is pure perfection. It is 4 frames of glory. Where Cecile wears the patented red dress. Even though we never see her wear it again, it is one of the greatest things that have ever been done. I like how even Alicia's like, so why are you wearing that outfit? And she goes, well, you see, it's for political reasons. And I'm like, of course it is, Cecile. Of course it is. It's funny, because I didn't think she was even that large to begin with. Because usually her outfits are kind of like baggy and kind of, they cover up a lot. So I didn't realize she was that large to begin with. I think they might have overdone it for the outfit. But who knows? Maybe she keeps it flat with, maybe she, what's the term? Wears an outfit that kind of smashes it. I'm not sure what the term is. You know what I'm talking about. I hope to God you don't. But anyways, Zero makes his declaration, and Lloyd's like, okay, are you the real Zero or the new Zero? And he goes, it doesn't matter. The deeds don't matter. It's just the person, the person behind the mask what matters, not like the actual symbol or something. What was it? It's not the man, it's the actions, I believe. Oh, philosopher, huh? And so apparently the Viceroy isn't here, and so Lelouch says, I'm going to I'm going to betray them because I want to be exiled to Japan. And they're like, really? You'd leave them all? And the plan was he'll leave them, or, okay. They thought he was going to leave the people high and dry so the rebellion would stop. And they all called him a traitor for doing this and a coward. And she even says, legally, we can't do this. And so they agreed to do it. There was a nice discussion about it. Lelouch basically made everyone think he was going to betray the Black Knights. So it was a good plan on his part. Now, the whole execution of a million zeros, okay. A little confusing here and there. Probably didn't make any sense. Probably not even possible, let's be honest. But I don't really care too much because I think the overall thought behind it made sense. If that makes any sense. Did that make any sense? I think it did. Okay, they're lighting a bunch of candles, and apparently someone made one for Euphemia besides Nunnally, and I believe it was Lelouch who made it. Okay, he tells Raoul here that, hey, everything I wanted to accomplish has been completed. Because you know, if you take a look, you see how Lelouch is coming back from this obelisk type thing, and then we see it here as well, and then we see the candle. So I think Lelouch lit the Euphemia one. That's my understanding, at least. So they leave Area 11. That's the plan, obviously, to leave in peace, so no one can reign happily without any problems. There's apparently 1 million people here. Some say there's no way. There had to be at least maybe 200,000. Who the hell knows? I think Minami and Asahina are here. I wrote a list of who is in the scenes. Hold up. Hold it. So it's Colin, Asahina, and Minami. You don't see Colin here, but she's part of the group. We see the gang of 3 watching it. And then we see Gino getting into Tristan. He's thinking, hey, they don't even know. Zero's betraying all the Black Knights. But did you know, Gino, they're actually not. Then we see Ogi, Tamaki, and I think the girl on the back, Futaba, the ones who drive the Ikaruga. So Valletta is looking for Ogi, I think. I'm not sure what the plan was. I think Lelouch told her, like, find Ogi or something. I'm not sure what the scheme behind this was. I'm still very confused. Then we see Zhao, I think her name is, and Shinkei, and he's not doing well, obviously. And she loves him a lot. This is one of those weird romances story. It's kind of like Chiba and Toto, but less obvious because they don't give them time to develop. But I'm pretty sure she had a feeling for Shinkei. She definitely cared a lot about him. It's too bad they never really do anything with this, but I felt there was something going on here. Plus, Shinkei's also kind of sick. That leads to nothing as well. Spoiler alert, but not really. Then Nelly's like, "Welcome everyone, the special administrative zone. I have no idea why a million people decided to gather in this one spot, but I'm glad you're all here, even though I know nothing of the actual details of the plan." I like Guilford a lot, I'm not going to lie, but what he does here was kind of sickening. He was going to kill everyone to kill all the Black Knight members, even though there was no need to go that far with the plan, but he was going to do it. So while I love the character, his actions here were kind of messed up. Also, we had the three remaining sons since Alfred and uh, blue hair and blonde hair are dead. I forgot their names. I know Alfred and someone else. Anyway, so they're discussing how. Oh, I forgot to mention early on in the episode. They mentioned that Alicia consulted, I guess, the legislative body or judges, whatever it was, and they determined that exiling Luch was in fact okay. So they're watching from the Avalon. Everyone's watching what happens, of course. They're announcing the zone. Eventually, Zero gets on there, I believe, right? And they were going to kill everybody, but they eventually don't because Zero's like, "Look, wasn't in Japanese. It's in the heart." He goes, "Exactly, the heart. So exile me." And they're like, "Yes, are they going to exile?" And eventually they agree to do it. They won't kill Zero, they'll exile instead. Eventually they also use the smoke. And they're like, I knew they were up to something. And then we get to the most controversial scene? Maybe not, I don't know. Not the most controversial, but a controversial scene. You see a million zeros, and it's I don't know. It's silly and stupid, I guess. But for some reason, my brain is like, it's fine, I guess. I don't know. But either way, it was kind of a cool scene. Oh, by the way, as I mentioned before here, Alicia was probably going to kill everybody. And Zaka was like, "No, we shouldn't kill anybody," because Alicia wanted to cause a massacre, which Zaka was definitely against because of what happened last time. And that's why he didn't want to have it in the first place. I would imagine so. And eventually, what I like about this scene too is that they're in an impasse right now. Will they let these people go and be exiled, or will they kill them? And so what eventually happened was, oh yeah, she's like, "How can you transport a million people?" Well, apparently there's an iceberg ship that will do it for them, and Sayako got it delivered to them. So they're all going to be exiled, and eventually they go back and forth on what if they should or not. But before they eventually decide what the outcome will be, Valletta tells people to take off their masks. And I'm like, "What are you doing, Valletta? Aren't you working for Zero? What's the plan here? Is it because you want to find Ogi?" I wasn't sure what was going on with Valletta in these episodes. Very confused. Or in this episode. Then we see Anya takes Nelly away to secure her. Eventually, he agrees to let them go because otherwise it'd be a massacre, and he didn't want what happened last time. And what I love about this scene is that Suzaku had all the power here because he was thinking, "What should I do? Should I kill them?" And she's like, "It's fine, I'll do it." And he's like, "No, we're not killing anyone." And he's like, "Well, how can you say that? Because after all, you're speaking like this, you're speaking as if these are actual people, but they're 11s." And what I love about this, I don't love it, but I like how Alicia is really evil here, okay? Like, people constantly say Nina is the worst character in this story. Are you serious? Alicia is basically saying 11s aren't real people and we should kill them because they betray the Empire. And she literally said this, okay? At least the dub said this. They should burn in hell for betraying the Empire. That was her exact words. Yeah, she's just lovely, isn't she? But I like how Suzaku was in charge the whole time. And what he said here made perfect sense. Let's just exile them. If they leave Japan, the prom goes away. No, they must burn in hell. Man, rough stuff. So he tells them they can leave and they're all exiled. It was great because Suzaku saved a million people, and the only reason he could have done that is because he had the authority of the Knight of Seven. That's why I've said repeatedly, multiple times, that was the same thing, that Suzaku was making change slowly as he climbed the ranks. Now, you could argue how far would this have gone? Different discussion. But you can't deny the fact that he couldn't have saved a million people if he wasn't the Nine of Seven. He could not become the Nine of Seven if he didn't become Euphemia's Knight, and he couldn't become Euphemia's Knight if he didn't become the warrant officer. So what you see is that everything is slowly building up to this point. That's why I love this whole episode. Even though, yes, it is absolutely silly, the whole million zeros. But I didn't care. And of course, Valletta says goodbye to her boyfriend. You had chances, Valletta. You had chances. You know what they should have done? Valletta should have just warned Zero off and joined them. Well, whatever. I guess she had to stay with the OSI units. Who knows? And Guilford's like, damn it, we could have killed all of them. I'm like, Guilford, you were going to kill a million people? Hell no. You were not going to kill a million people. Now they're curious to see what's going to happen in Chinese territory. And the story takes a different direction, which I liked. And thank God Zaku spared everyone's life, and Lelouch knew that was going to happen. We get all the zeros and all the different people in their costumes. I thought it looked pretty cool. I've always asked who did it better with the zero costume, C2 or Colin. Although I have to wonder if C2 has her own costume, like because they've switched to the past. Why she had a green one? I don't know. Weird nitpicks. I know. This was Lelouch's candle, I believe, and the episode ends, and that's it. More symbolism. Oh, man, my voice is just dead. I don't got a strong voice, guys. That's the problem. I just don't. I know some people are just really blessed with that stuff. Not me, man. Not me. Okay. While we are, let me pull up let me pull up Jen's code while this is happening. So at least you guys can look at while I'm answering comments. Even though I hate freaking Abyss mode, but whatever. I don't think I have any extra notes. Let me just see if I don't. Oh yeah, Nully forgave Zero. That's important, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I got nothing. All right, comment time. Let's read some comments. While you watch, I'll zoom in so you at least see what's happening here. Yes, that is a Seeds World birthday monster. Do not ask. I wish I knew. Okay, I'll put an auto and I'll read some comments. And I will zoom in so you can look at Lelouch as he walks. Or that's a little too much. Okay, let me close the map. Okay, I will now read some comments. That's Toto, by the way. There's a Christmas version of her, because reasons. All right, comment time. They contradict each other. They do and they don't. There's some retconning. Yes, I know. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, what was that in stage 11, stage 25? And I don't know if CT was watching, but he took a shower in stage 13, stage 13. So a couple of times, yeah. I think C2 has seen him more naked than anyone else in the story. They share that in common, I guess. Yeah, it is. We love Kogias. We're not going to deny that, but we also can't deny the fact that, yeah, Kogias has a ton of retcons and contradictions. I mean, Rennie of Darkness is full of them. Oh my god. Like, Rennie of Darkness introduces so many weird concepts. Like, apparently, if you get a Geass power, it heals your body. Didn't know that was a thing. Apparently, there's a limit to how many Geass contracts C2 can give out. Didn't know that was a thing. Apparently, what else was there that was so bizarre? Oh, only qualified ones can get a contract. Didn't know that was a thing, right? There's so much weird stuff they have in Reign of Darkness that, like, yeah, this is that's what Kogias does. It's tons of retcons. That's why they need to reboot the series and fix the problems. Yeah, I know. It is weird. What I'm supposed to tell you, it is very weird. Yeah, a film series or no, an old something else would do it. Yeah, for sure. Ah, thank you. I appreciate when you guys do that. It helps me a lot. I could hate Sync. She's only one of the harshest. She's actually pure evil. Why do people not talk about her? I don't know. I don't know. Group most of Kogias. Yeah, unfortunately. They should clarify these things because I feel like it doesn't make sense for Akito or Oz to be in the same timeline. For the most part, it doesn't really change a whole lot because Akito has nothing to do with R1, R2, except for the end where you see Rollo rescuing Lelouch and Suzaku. Other than that, there isn't a whole lot that has to do with it. I guess you all had the little flashback with C2 and the kids, and also that part where what was it? Where Lelouch is Julius Kingsley. There are some contradictions within that because why would Charles send him out to the EU? Why does Lelouch not remember being Julius Kingsley when he probably should have? Those are definitely issues I would agree with. And Ozra Reflections, since I haven't gone through all of it in detail, the only thing I guess there are some retcons is how Lelouch worked with Maribel, how Maribel was in the Democles the whole time, which they don't show you, and how the Glendonites infiltrated the Democles to stop Maribel. At least what happened in the story. It's been a while since I went through it, through those YouTube videos. So there are some things like that, but generally speaking, you can kind of say to yourself, and I hate doing this because it's justifying crap, but you can kind of say to yourself, you know what? If you try real hard, you can kind of piece it together like it kind of makes sense. I know. I'm justifying crap, but what can I tell you? They won't animate us. If they animate Oz Reflection, they could definitely fix all these problems for sure. Of course it doesn't. Again, there was a lot of reckonings. No one's denying that. But I'm just going by what the creators have stated. Maybe you don't have to accept that. There's definitely like I have certain issues with certain creators. For example, even though the author of Death Note is a completely different topic, but this always comes up unfortunately because Death Note and Kogias are apparently on the same show, even though they're like really not. But whatever. Anyways, people have said that Light Yagami cared about his parents and his family because the author said that. Now, in my opinion, based on the story, that's crap. And I can actually prove it within the narrative of the story. I've argued with people to death about this, and whatever. It is what it is. Just because the author says it, I mean, I can totally understand if you don't agree with what the creators said, because I disagree at times. But I'm going by what was established by the canon. Maybe in the future we'll find out how it all works out. Kage tries to hug Zero. Zero sidesteps. Pretty much. What supplementary? Sorry. What supplementary material says Toto always knew Zero was Lelouch? This is news to me. Was that some kind of visual novel? Picture drama? When does that ever even get declared? Next comment, let me know. I'm serious. I don't. I like to know where that was actually stated. Was it a manga? I'm confused. I don't remember ever reading that anywhere, but they were just trying to show time passing and people doing stuff. That's why it's there. But you're right. I don't know either. Besides that, I have no idea. The fan service is so different between R1 and R2. In R1, it was so sexual and raw, while R2 was regular anime fan service. Sexual and raw. Was it though? What are we talking about specifically? Because you mean like Colin was naked on the island or naked in the tub? I guess. I don't know. I catch what you're saying. It's more like R1's fan service seemed more contextually like it made sense, whereas R2 was kind of forced in there like a typical etchy anime. I think that's what you're saying. If I'm wrong, let me know. But it's a valid point though. It is actually. You know what's great about those scenes is because because Suzaku doesn't know that Lelouch got his memories back, and Lelouch obviously did get his memories back. So the two of them are like, it's no, it is very funny. I agree. It's good stuff. A typical destroyer submarine has a crew of 105. So, oh my god, 1,000. You're not making my life easy. I mean, before the count was already insane. I'm not sure what the official numbers were, but I got to like, hold on, I'll show you what I got so far. I'll actually read it out. I think did I do it yet? I don't know. Let's see. I may not have counted it up yet. I'm not sure. I have like a whole listing of it. Um, Here it is. Hmm. I have what I've been doing so far for the video. I can show you guys a quick preview if you're curious. It's a whole, it's a long process to get in the videos. I'm more gonna wait to make it go faster, but it's still a long process to make the video. So what I've done so far is, okay, I'll have a panic attack. Yeah, so here's a little preview of it. So you see here, I have like all the counters. So here's a scene where, what is this? All the Britannian soldiers that get, it wasn't Britannian soldiers, it was like the OSI units. So I have like a marker for each one. It'll be much easier to read it going forward. And I'm going to use my video editor to automatically generate the how many people have died and the current totals. So it's been kind of cool. But I've not done the counting yet, so it's already kind of crazy. Like I have like a bunch of, yeah, I see the bunny girl, the guys here, the Black King. I had to line up this thing 'cause I couldn't freaking see how who were dead. This moron shot at Lelouch in the beginning of the episode. These poor people died because of the glass falling. Um, this poor bastard. Again, glass falling, the helicopter. These guys were executed, and girls, obviously, by Kalaris. So that's what I've kind of been doing. When I have this part figured out, then I'll go into the next stage. There's one episode that it's such a mess. I could like this one here. Look at this one. This is just fantastic. I haven't marked it up yet. I think I did. Yeah, look at this. Okay, I'll load it up here. I open a 3 at one time because I'm so I clicked too many times. Okay, look at this. Can you follow any of this? I'm literally guessing at this point of how many people have died during this scene. This is, by the way, later on. This is turn 10. There's like so. Look at these dots. I'm just counting them at random. Like, okay, I guess those two and these three and those four. I don't know. It's really crazy. So it's gonna be a long. R2 is such a mess when it comes to how many people die on scene. Like apparently, where is it? I think a photo of it. I'm not sure, but there's a part where you see the monitor, and it's just I can't follow it. I mean, look at this one, huh? Look at this cluster fudge. This was fun to count. How many? There's what is it? One, two. Like there's just yeah. It's fun. It's gonna be a fun video. I'm really excited. It's gonna be a long. Take me a while to finish it, but I'll be excited when it's completed. Yeah, he never officially knows because when he confronts Lucia about it, he tells him it was an accident. So whatever. If Rolo kills Suzaku between turn 5 and 6, when Suzaku was Geass by Rolo, how would it affect the story? You love these hypotheticals. There's nothing wrong. I'm joking. Well, if Suzaku is dead, there's no Zero Requiem. If Suzaku is dead, Nully isn't protected, and Luch can't leave. If Suzaku is dead, ooh, I don't think it would be a good story. Let's. I don't. I think it would have been very disastrous for Luch. He'd have to stay back to take care of Nully, or bring him with her, or bring her with him. Kidnapping part 2. At least they will never lose an art battle again because Zaku's always in their way, so they got that figured out. I think Rolo's worse because Dietar at least knows space. Oh man, I went too hard in that review, huh? Dietar knows personal boundaries. Rolo does not, but they're both pretty creepy. That is for sure. Was that actually going to happen though? See, this is the thing I have to seriously question at this point. this is an interesting theory, and that is okay. If if Suzaku is killed and they know that Lucius got his memories back, are they really going to hurt Nunnally? They didn't do it when it happened before. I mean, didn't they imply in Turn 21 that Lucius' actions as like the Black Knights and the Black Rebellion was just a nuisance? They didn't care about it. I always got the impression, I could be completely wrong here, that Charles didn't care one way or the other what Lucius was going to do. And Lelouch was only acting on his understanding of what he thought Charles was trying to do. If Lelouch knew that Charles was trying to do the Ragnarok connection, I don't think he would have thought the same way. So given the information he knew, it made sense, but I don't think so. Because again, the Ragnarok connection ruins all these plans. That's why it's so confusing. I don't know. I guess not. It's funny they worked together for all that time. They didn't. All hell, Claudio. Yes, that's another shirt we're gonna make. All hell, Claudio. Hold on, I'll make that another one too. I gotta put the notes down here. All hell, Claudio, the only child who lives. Oh my god! Now again, god dang Evangelion. So what's Claudio? The fifth child. The fifth child of Dalton. Oh, hail, Claudio. Is he the fifth child? So there's Claudio, or Blondie, blue hair, David, and silver hair. I think Claudio's the fifth child. I'm not sure the order of age, but I don't think Anya cares about anything because she's kind of a sociopath slash. I don't know. She's a soldier. Unfortunately, her mind was taken over by Marion, so she's a clean slate, almost like Rei Ayanami. He has a problem with killing, but not when his allies do it. He's the inverse of only those who kill. So what will that be like? The only people should kill are those who aren't prepared to kill, or is it you shouldn't kill if you are prepared to kill? We'll be the opposite of that. Hmm. Only those who kill should be prepared to die. Right, that's what Luke said. So what's the opposite of that? The only ones who you shouldn't kill if you're prepared to die, or you kill if you're not prepared to die. I guess that would be it. It was so weird why Cecile was wearing the sexy dress. I thought it was setting up something up. Like Cecile was a secret Zero fangirl, and so I had to keep it a secret. Man, I think Cecile had bigger plans for the show, but they just never came in fruition. I mean, there was a whole subplot of her falling in love with Suzaku. There's a whole subplot of her boyfriend that ran away that she lost forever. There's a bunch of things that were going on with her. She also had some kind of relationship with C2 during the Zero Requiem. I mean, she should have had a bigger role in the story. They clearly had the seeds of something, but I guess due to time constraints, they couldn't keep it going because Cecile is basically the Kogias version of Misato, only less mentally flawed. Like, I don't mean like Misato has brain damage or anything, but Misato has a lot of trauma and daddy issues, and I don't think Cecile has any of those, but she's also a purple hair girl who takes care of the main lead who happens to pilot a mech. So there could have been so much more. Chest binders. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. I think she was wearing chest binders when she wears her outfit. Thank you. Someone is intelligent. It is not me. It's funny, they don't talk much, but you're right. No, Lloyd. Well, first of all, Lloyd's a sociopath, so he doesn't feel anything. That's why he could do that. There's no nervous or apprehension to it. Thank you, though. The chest binder. Seriously, I forgot what it was. My brain was turned to mush. Oh god, we're back to this again. Okay, how about that question on how Lucius is worse than Kogias Hitler? We have Schneisel that killed at least 100 million people by his attack on Pendragon, and no one speaks of him like they do Lelouch. Absolutely. I have I've said this at least like several times in this stream. that I've stated many times. Like I've used that verbiage. But yes, why is it that when it comes to Lelouch and Nina, it's like punishment, evil, all that stuff? Which, by the way, there are some legitimate arguments for that. When it comes to Schneisel, it's like, yeah, whatever, killed millions of people, but hey, it's Schneisel. He's hot. He's 6'7". Who cares? Schneisel was a war criminal. I don't understand why he wasn't executed for his. That was the word I was thinking before. Executed. Why was he not executed for his crimes of mass genocide? I don't know. Everyone else got away with it. By the way, here, look how stupid this is. Side note. See this? Nelly literally went over a hole in the ground. Like, here's how stupid this game is. A side note. See this? You can't travel to the hole in the ground, right? But you can have your units go over the hole in the ground. Because that makes sense, right? That's how physics works. You can't travel to the hole, but your units can climb over it. You gotta be kidding me. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, Schneider should have been executed for his crimes, no doubt. I think it's frustrating that it's never discussed. Like he literally gets there's no discussion about it whatsoever in the story. You just see Schneider casually wheeling. Why that sounds so bad? Anyways, just bringing Nelly to Ogi, and everything's fine. He killed millions of people, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. He should have been tried and executed. I don't care if he would have been a good leader. You can't ignore those crimes. It's ridiculous to me. I know some people don't agree with me. It's fine. Well, obviously the show didn't either. I feel like Lloyd, if he cared, would take on Lucian at a Zero in a philosophical battle. Yeah, that'd been great. It never happens, unfortunately, but that would have been cool. Right, exactly. That's great. I still think if Ogi died during the Black Rebellion, nothing about Vleda would have changed. I mean, she could have dated Tamaki. Okay, I'm just kidding. That's a sick joke. I apologize. She could have dated. Okay, fine. Let's play this game for like 2 seconds here. Who would have Valletta dated and married had it not been Ogi? Okay, let's think about the bachelors. We have Tamaki. Ooh, no. That blue haired guy. Ooh, I don't know his name. It always escapes my. Asahina. He's available, right? Toto. It could be a love triangle. Um, let's see who else. Schneisel. Is Schneisel even into anything? I thought she was into canon. Who the hell knows? Maybe canon in Valletta. Gino and Valletta? Oh wait, Gino is 16 and Valletta is what, 20 something? That wouldn't have worked out well. That'd be kind of gross. Who else could have gone out with Valletta? I'm like really thinking through what our guys are in this story that are bachelors. Guilford and Valletta? No, he's with Cornelia. Claudio and Valletta. That's the couple. That's perfect actually because they're both side characters. Yeah, Claudio marries Valletta if Ogi died. Fanfic, we're writing it. Claudio marries Valletta. I think that's a perfect couple because Claudio is the son of Dalton, and he's got somewhat nobility, right? And he joins. Well, not really, but whatever. We'll say he does, and he joins with Valletta, and they get married. Okay, that's perfect. I'm writing the fanfic now. That's what happens. If you got a better ship, an alternative better ship than that one, I'd like to know. And it's really a crack ship because Claudio has never talked to Valletta once. But let's be honest, it would be a good couple. Uh, what else? Hmm. I can't think of anyone else. I was thinking Mimi for like 2 seconds, then I realized he's not into. Valletta's too old for him. He would date Asuka though. He would definitely date Asuka and marry her. Let's see who else men wise. Hmm. There aren't a lot of guys in the show who could have married her. I don't know. I'm going Claudio. If you guys got a better ship, you let me know. Okay. Oh, that was happening? I honestly was lost. That makes sense. Also, it also ripped off what's that? I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. That's a classic one. Yeah, I guess it did. So what? That's fine. Everything copies for everyone. There's nothing really original these days. Well, only 5% of our ideas are original, and 95. Yeah, there you go. Are we telling the same stories over again? Like seven. What is it? There's seven stories, and we're just telling the same ones over and over again. Hold on, let me look this up real quick. It's the seven stories that we tell. The seven basic plots. It is yeah. What is it? The seven basic plots. What are they? No, I don't want to get a virus. I just want the answer to my questions. The seven. I know some of them by heart, but I don't know all of them because I'm stupid. What is it? What are the seven? It's okay. I think this is it. All right. Man against man, man against nature, man against himself, man against God, man against society, man caught in the middle, man and woman. Well, I guess now we might have to change that. But those are the basic seven stories. So we're not telling the same ones anymore. Soldier One, there's a lot of duffel bags around here. Should we check them? Nah, it's probably the man. I think you've already found like 5 holes in the story. Should we check the duffel bags? No. Well, first of all, oh yeah, they could check it, right? Never mind. Good point. I just seen that scene. I was expecting them to go full Spartacus seat. I'm zero. I'm zero. Oh my god! Just because one showed us in another doesn't mean ripping it off. They're not ripping it off. Also, I don't think Vendetta is as well popular in Japan. Well, I mean, what he was trying to say was, we're not saying that ripping things off is necessarily like, for example, if you think that it was a bad decision in the story, that's fine. Not even arguing against you. If you think they shouldn't have ripped it off, it makes sense. Completely agree. All we're trying to point out is that stories are basically copying the same thing over and over again. There's nothing really original anymore. Could they have found a better way to transport a million people? Sure. Could they have come up with a different story in general? Whatever. Yeah, obviously. I don't know. It didn't really bother me. But you're right. Look, this is a very subjective thing. If you didn't like it, that's completely understandable. I think I already wrote that, right? Fox Fire Art. Didn't I write this already? I'll write it again. I thought I wrote this somewhere. Fox Fire Art. I'm having deja vu. Didn't I already do this? You ever have Vuja Day? That's when you experience something new for the first time. I get Vuja Day all the time. You know what? Can I just copy this comment? I cannot. Awesome. Okay. No, Ren is part of the same. It's the prequel story of Code Geass. It's not a different timeline. So it's not a different timeline. Again, we've going circles on this one, but it's not. It's not. Oh, the one we're not dying yet. Like, what's going on here? We should be like in the thick of it. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Now you get to see some action. I'm getting taken out. The birthday monster's being killed. She was very important to that story. I guess I don't remember though. Well, it'd be great, right? But they don't have like Shamla and Shalio are not in this game yet, so they clearly are. I don't know. I'm waiting for the next. I'm waiting for the next wave of characters. They haven't done that yet. That's why I'm not summoning today. I only summoned for Toto because it's for the Christmas thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have wasted my time with it. Right, that's what we're arguing about. Doesn't matter. Should yeah. Well, I was watching a podcast and people were talking about this. The people who you should get to keep track of your story are those who run your Wikipedia pages. They were saying that, like, what's his name, Martin, George R. R. Martin, the guy who made the Game of Thrones series. I think he consulted people who ran the Wikipedia page for help on the story because he literally didn't know certain things. I could be wrong with that one, but I thought that was the case where he consulted the people who ran the Wikipedia page about the whole Game of Thrones, I guess, the mythos, because he didn't know. So to now relate to your point, the creators should consult those who actually know the story to write future things. Because I made mention of this for Jedi Code. They discussed one of the attributes of Geass in their definitions, and it's wrong based on their own understanding. Like, here, I'll show you what I mean. Uh, Genesis RE Code. Give me a second here. I want to show what I'm talking about. How my videos come up first when it comes up. Awesome. Because I'm top ranking for something in my life. Okay. My name actually also is too. But so if I go to the website, I'll show what I'm talking about. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Where is it? Here's the website. The website is so freaking glitchy. God, it's just irritating. Yes, please translate to English. That'd be wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, see, there's a bunch of events going on here. Anyhow, if we go to glossary, I believe. So check this out. Okay, so Geass is also talking about. Geass is the paranormal imprint of the chain inside a person's wishes and curses. It's one of the powers of the king. It's the power to pay a great price, such as living with a reason different for different gaining, such as a living with a reason different from people will gain tremendous power. It is expressed by making a code contract with the immortal code holder with the mysterious imprint code. Al's Geass has the power of phase transition and can be observed beyond time, space, and space time. I guess. Where was it? Was that what I was reading from? Maybe they changed this. There was a. They said how, like, people who can get Geass power, you have to be like a what was it? A qualified one or something, and they completely botched it in their own. Maybe they changed this because I remember they were saying how, like, only a qualified one can get it or a non-qualified one, but they didn't really. They kind of messed up their own lore based on When You Have Darkness. Look at this. Seas World, a place where minds and memories gather regardless of life and death. That's why they wanted to combine them all. And that led to the collective unconsciousness, I guess. Anyways, so there was some, I guess they fixed it, but there was some inconsistency in their own writings there. Yeah, I thought that was the case. Again, I haven't watched in a while, or read in a while. I wish I could watch it. Actually, let me change my mothership. We're going Lloyd Doggy. Yes, it is very insulting. I feel bad for him. Yeah, but other than that, though, I mean, like, basically in the second part of Death Note, some of the stuff he did clearly showed he didn't love his father, especially what he said to Matsa at the end about how the role that my dad grew up with made him a fool or something. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely something his dad would. That's definitely a nice thing to say about your father. Well, didn't Orpheus die too? I could be wrong. By the way, Glarican, you still haven't told me where'd you learn that apparently when Glarican you said that who said that Toto knew that Zero was a Lelouch the whole time? Because I don't know where you guys found that from. Also, I gotta find that picture drama where it shows Aino changing and apparently Ashley was there the whole time because I don't think that was the case. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with when they had a 10-year plan. It's just that I don't think they really thought about it too much because Resurrection kind of opened the floodgates, and so did the films. And there's so far the direction of the 10-year plan hasn't been great. It's been mostly games actually, and one film. I guess you can count the recap films as well. It already has, but yes, 1 million people. Well, if you don't count the Flayas, maybe, but I'm gonna guess since I haven't gone through yet. I would say maybe 100,000 people we're gonna see dead on screen. I will count the Flayas when they're fired because we do see it destroying the Tokyo settlement, so we know people are dying on screen. That's fine. When it comes to the Flayas against Schneisel, or when Schneisel fires against Lelouch, they actually show you the units being wiped out, so I can count those individually. Alderaan survived, but Orpheus, yeah, I know Orpheus died. Oh, hello, hey Ryan, didn't see the whole stream. Um, Sorry to still occupied with Kyoko Senkai heading to 2020. Do you have any hopes still rolling out a trailer for Project Code Geass? They already did. And it had Janissary Code, it had Seed Recapture, and it had the Resurrection. There was a roadmap. Shoot, let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Do. Let's see. It was one of the recent broadcasts. If I find, I'll be amazed because I can't find anything. I've got a million folders containing a million stuff. Okay, no, not that one. Nope, not the one. There was a roadmap. I'm trying to find. It was in their race when they had their announcement about. Oh, I know which one it was. They did. There was an announcement about the. This is the one. Yeah, I think it was in this announcement. Okay, there's the trailer. They showed some game. Here we go. This is what you're talking about, right? The rollout map. So you see, originally R1, R2, Akito, the recap films. Then we have Resurrection. In the meantime, we have Renya and Oz the Reflection. Wait, Resurrection and Reflection. That hurts. Zeta Recapture 2021, Zeta Recapture, and Janissary Code. This is the roadmap, by the way. Next 10 years. We still have another 5 years to plan out, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. To me, it's been disappointing. We need more stuff. But yes, there was a roadmap. I think he's just saying. I don't think he's including the. I don't think he's including the main. Besides, I don't think he brought in the Flayas because the Flayas obviously killed way more than that. They really do. Lost stories, yeah, for sure. I think Claudio is the oldest since he seems to be the leader when Dalton and Guilford are leading them. Okay, fine. So he's the oldest. Japan lost 65 million, and Pendragon is speculated at 100 million, so it'll be 165 million people in R2. And that doesn't count all the conflicts, right? Macy Steele's wearing that dress to get Suzaku's attention. Well, it didn't work, unfortunately. She got the wrong attention. She got it from Alicia. Yeah, it was only the people in the. It was 10 million confirmed and 25 million probably dead after the firing of the Flea in the Tokyo settlement. Well, in Resurrection, was she part of the Knights of the Round? I think she was still part of the Glinda Knights. Wow. The numbers stay in the wiki. Jesus. I'll do some research when I get to that episode. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he forgave her when she was in the hospital bed recovering. I don't know. It's a good point. And Sophie Randall from Akito the Exiled. Oh, I agree with that. He still should have been tried for what he did. So what? It doesn't justify it. There's always another way, right? Yeah, R2 was a rush job. I completely agree at this point. I mean, one of the problems with R2 was that, specifically that episode, it was so fast. I was like, okay, Lelouch, he's zero. We're going to give him the Schneisel. We're not going to think about this. We won't hear his side. We'll just go on our own fruition. I completely agree with you. It was horribly handled. They should have discussed it first with Zero. They should have just said, "Hey, let's talk about this first, and then see what happens." But instead, they decided to just go on their own. So yeah, I agree. It was stupid. We need like more scenes. That's why we should just make more extra stuff than what we had. Cloud talked to Valletta during the final battle of R2. Did you? Did he? What am I talking about? Let's see. You mean 23? I'll look it up. I never noticed Cloud existed until Ladder King brought him up. I always knew about David and the blonde hair guy and the blue hair guy, but I never thought about Claudio. Let's take a look. Oh, you know what? I think you're right. When they were on the ship, right? I think they were talking. Hold on. You know what? I think you're right. I was gonna pull out the video to find it, which I will do. But the thing is, last time I got copyright claimed, which was stupid, because I was literally playing the video within a player, and whatever. So I gotta be careful how I do this. Um, like were they on the ship or? Oh, you know what? I think you're right. Hold on, I'll find it. It might have been 24, not 23. It's one of the last ones. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Um. Okay, I'm not saying it. Give me a second. Oh God, it's late. Of course it is. All right, I started the stream. That's why I'm like, why is it? Oh, that's right. That's right. I started the stream a little late. Yeah, it was so stupid what I was trying to do. Okay, again, I can't play this on screen because I'm going to get screwed. So it's going to appear. Oh, it doesn't appear there. All right. Whoopsies. You weren't supposed to hear that. Okay. Let's see. I don't know what this scene, but here, maybe it's just me. Does it look like that Ogie raped Valletta in this scene? Like she's so hold on. Oh wait, I gotta be careful. I don't want to have a strike. 1 second. I don't want to get claimed. 1 second. She just seems like really disturbed, and there's some backcourt of a ship. I don't know. It kind of bothers me about that scene there. But anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Hold on. During the conflict, it shows Valletta on the ship. Hmm. I'm not saying it. I don't know. I'm looking. If you can give me the exact timestamp or episode or I don't know. Oh wait, hold on, hold on. I think I found it. Hold up. Okay, now she's in by herself. Great. She's on the island. Fantastic. Can we see her talking to Claudio? Mm-hmm. Tommy saved Ogie's life. Good for you. No one cares. Is it as if Ogie's life is worth saving? Is that controversial? I don't know. I don't hate him, but he's not my favorite character. Come on, where is it? I'm literally watching episode 24. I'd watch it with you guys, but I don't want to get claimed because apparently everyone here is so freaking sensitive about this crap. Okay. All right. Stop the flare. Okay, Voltron's fighting Lelouch. Voltron failed to fight Lelouch because Zaku took out Voltron. And then, okay, Collins killed C2, sort of, not really. Shadow gets Geass in the face. The thing goes down. Oh, wait, hold. Oh, here it is. Here we go. Guys, we have confirmed it. It is canon. They were talking on the ship. So therefore, uh, Claudio is in fact going to marry Valletta. Thank you. Was that Ryan? Thank you, Ryan. Now we know. It has been decided. These two will be shipped instead of her and Ogi. It would be a much better couple anyways. I had the photos. So I don't have to like have this one. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. This is a new official couple, a new canon. And by the way, Claudio is gigantic. Valletta is like what, 5'9", 5'10"? Jesus, Claudio is huge. Okay. All right, there you go. Thank you. Oh God, please! No, I don't want. That's disgusting. No offense. I don't. I don't like that couple at all. I low key ship Claudia with Chiba. That's a very strange one. Since the Glass and Knights are Britannian equivalents to the Holy Swords, then again, Gladio almost killed her and she killed David. I mean, maybe, but I think I think her. I think Claudio and Valletta is a thing. That should be a thing. Crack ship. C2 Marion. You got the crack part right. Okay. Good question. Where's Nunnally? Let's zoom in. It looks like no, it's moving on its own. You know what the real question is? How the hell is Nunnally knowing where she's going? And here's a better question: how is she gonna fight this thing? Don't ask. This game makes no sense. Nunnally is able to find the location, and then she gets to it. I'm not sure. You know, you see, I don't know. Who the hell knows? This game makes no sense. I thought you guys might find it funny that Lloyd dressed in a dog costume because that's how much this game respects him, as in they don't. Is it completed? I'm being serious. Did they finish the manga? If it's done, I'll be happy to do it at some point. It's a short one too, right? If it's done, I can do it. It's my concern is it completed yet. That's the problem. Some of these mangas aren't finished. Like I know Resurrection's not done. I believe Lush Other Rebellion RE is done. So I guess it's done. You know what? If it is, I can do it. I want to do the whole universe. So it'll be Lancelot and Gurren, Rebellion RE, and Resurrection. I can do them all separately. Let's see. Mortal Kombat's lore is trash fire. The last two games retconned everything. Mortal Kombat. I played the second to most recent one. It was kind of cool. It's fun to play, but no, I agree that the story is weird. Oh, okay. Because yeah, that was weird. I remember reading that. Like, it's so frustrating when you have stuff like that and you have to like dig into the archives to find the answers. Yeah, Taizo knew. Yes, we knew Taizo knew Lush was zero, but I didn't think Toto did. No, it's not. This game. So here's the thing. This game is. Here's how I put it. It's its own timeline, its own thing. Because if you guys remember, I was doing the birthday celebration, and during the birthday celebration, the characters are completely like it explained during that event that the timelines are all fudged up because I believe Gigi called Ogi a prime minister, but Al didn't know he was a prime minister, but he wasn't prime minister at the time because they took him out of his time stream. So it's Genesis Code is like almost a pocket dimension or alternate universe. I have no idea. It does not follow the timeline. I mean, let's look at some basic facts here, right? Or some basic things you can look at. Nolly is her eyes aren't open, so it's not the end of R2, right? Rena's still has the stone, so it's not the end of Reign of Darkness. Akito still has the sword, which means what does that mean? No, yeah, he still has the sword, which I believe he gives back to what's her name? Ayano at the end of Akito, I believe is what happened. It's really confusing. I don't even think about it. What did you miss? Let's see. Claudio and Valletta are a couple. 136 million people were killed during the events of R2 with the Flayas alone. Total apparently New Lelouch was 0 the whole time. I'm just kidding, I made that one up. What else? Oh, C2 and Marion's a crack ship. Yeah, that there you go. I think I caught you up. Oh, and apparently Maribel should be in the new game. Adola family has bad luck. Um, yeah. Oh, and the 10-year plan needs to be explained better for Kogias. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, why not? Exactly. You could remake R2, and here's the kicker: you remake R2, and then where's my okay? You remake R2, and you make it canon with the Oz Reflection Ocular Exile. You could definitely do it all. Okay, they could totally do it, but they won't for some reason. Remake R1, R2, and have it first of all make sense, and make sure it coincides with the two stuff, the two other things. Hmm, that makes sense. It's not, it's not me like. There's no way it can be. Oh, that's cool. I remember that. There's one meme in there. Oh, you mean in the Discord server? I wasn't. Let's see. Oh, what is it? Lucius is terrible at jokes. Let's see. 変なジョークを殺すって言ったら君の意志とは関係ない。That's so bad.
Or I tell it to Nonally. Let's see. I think it goes like this. The storm struck and the futons blew away like crumbs.
Okay, so where's the punchline?
Lelouch, I don't think it's crumbs. I think it's croutons. It's like a play on words, you know? Futons and croutons.
Shit!
What should I be doing now?
Let's see now. Sing me a song while hopping on one foot and wearing your clothes inside out.
Yes, right away, Master.
No, wait! I was kidding!
I'm sorry. Please don't beat me hard again.
Her mind is completely reverted. She's now only the slave girl before the power of Geass came. Don't you worry. I would never do anything.
That's good. That's a good meme. He is bad jokes. Lloyd's wearing a dog costume. It's from the Halloween special. You know what? Maybe no. I think I'm wrong. I think he's a werewolf, no. He's a werewolf, not a dog. My bad. He's a werewolf, but close enough, right? Because he gets the tail. He's a werewolf. Still weird. Okay. Let's see. Cornel was fine. I guess so. Yeah. That's a very strange. That's a very strange take. I would say all three of those things. One, it's because Shirley Resurrection. Basically, nobody watched the recap films and assumed that Shirley's Resurrection was some contrived stupidity. Number two, it didn't really do anything different. It was basically a fan service movie, which is what I thought it was going to be, which is why it didn't bother me. But some people wanted something more. And again, it wasn't R3. Those are why people didn't like it. So yeah, everything you just said is basically facts. Oh, look who's here. Yeah, he's gonna marry Colin. I'm just kidding. He's gonna marry probably Nunnally or Colin. Yeah, I know it's translated, but is it Finnish? That's what I was asking. Um, why Lush? That's why Lush is Maribel's sister. Plus, Ulrich could easily be Shirley and form a relationship with him. I guess I don't know. They'd have to really develop it. Yeah, I've read it. I've read most of those. Basically, yeah. can you get 100 episodes? You'd have to. If you were going to get 75 episodes, you would have to like expand the lore out. You'd go to the visual novels and really. I mean, that'd be cool, but they need to really think that one through. I'm not against it, by the way. Yeah, it's a Halloween special. It was an award. You can buy like certain motherships. So I bought Lloyd because I figured, hey, why not? He's a werewolf with a Frankenstein head. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Ogie versus Spike. Definitely Spike. Ogie can't fight. He's a no summons. Nope, not today. Lelouch isn't a fighter though. He's a mental. His ability is tactics and strategy. He's not a fighter. So yeah, I don't think so. Anywho, let's see. I'm gonna stop playing because we're about to die. Yeah, fix the whole fix the Ragnarok connection. That would have been nice, you know. But whatever. Did I get enough books yet? Or mistletoe? Nope, not there yet. So see in this game, if you guys are curious, you can buy a yeah. See, there's a thing you can get. It's a mothership for Al, and so that's that. And then I did do a summoning during the last week for the I got this character. It's Toto, the Christmas Toto. Toto Thompson, the honorary H Fallen with the strangest outfit. But whatever, compared to most characters in the game, it's pretty. I mean, compare her to Gigi, for example. Here's Gigi's Halloween outfit. Yeah, wonderful stuff. And here's Toto. So it's an improvement, I guess. Yeah, that's not Raul. That's Al. That's Al, not Rolo. Okay, just in case you guys didn't know. Yeah, I'm about to leave out too. Don't worry. I mean, I should make it lose last week. Comes was that Roll? No, it was it was not Rollo. It was I, Rella. Oh, finally? Yes. Hold on, let me just get this finished. Okay, I'm done. Yay. Got it. Upgraded my BP. Who's in the C's roll today? Okay. Yeah, I think we're ending here. It's already 11 o'clock. Yeah, I'm freaking exhausted. Anyhow, guys, thanks for tuning into the stream. Appreciate it. And thanks for indulging my insanity when it came to Evangelion. I will do the fourth film probably next week. And I'm going to try to get some other stuff done this week. We'll find out. But anyhow, have a good week, guys. I will see you all next week. So take care, guys. Peace.